You're listening to a Countout Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ring Post Radio, the only podcast that goes on without the actual host. Yes, I am Scott Edwards, and this week Ryan is not with us. Ryan is not part of Ring Post Radio. He is sick, so I have taken over. So automatically this show is off to a wonderful start because I have no idea what I'm doing in this chair. I host a lot of podcasts, but Ring Post Radio, that is Ryan's. That is Ryan. So we're going to miss Ryan this week, but I'm going to do my best to replace Ryan with none other than Dylan Murray of Stardom Quest. Dylan, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I am not able to fill Ryan's boots. For those that don't know,
no one is.
Me and Scott, real close friends. Ring Post Radio is still my favorite show. Like, I'm like a mark for Ring Post Radio. I love it. Like, I listen to it every week. So it's like I love the way Ryan hosts. I love the way you host on your shows as well, but I love the way Ryan hosts. I know I ain't gonna be as good as that, and I'm not hosting, luckily. But you know, I'm happy to be here for sure. Talk some wrestling.
Yeah, the big difference I'll tell everyone is usually like Ryan sets me up perfectly to just like whine and complain and rant and be critical. I'm going to try to just set both of us up to do that. And we're just going to see where it goes. But Ryan, we hope you get better. We'll be back next Sunday on time, everyone. So if you want to hear Ryan's thoughts about the past couple weeks of wrestling, you'll have to tune in next week. But like I said, we have Dylan with me today. We have a lot of topics. We have the G1 Climax catch-up. We have Blood and Guts, Death Before Dishonor, the 5-star Grand Prix opening night, and some news to kick us off. And in Ryan fashion, I'm going to make him very happy with this. I'm going to give us some news that involves a former NWA World Champion.
Oh, boy.
As Nick Aldis is reportedly in talks with WWE. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer expanded on this situation, reported that WWE were actually in talks with free agent Aldis, though there was interest from numerous parties when it came to acquiring his services. His exact words were, Aldis has been in talks with WWE before coming to Impact. WWE, which, while talks about a hiring freeze aren't true, has not been hiring many people. Aldis is back in talks, and Mike Johnson reported that he will be getting a trial as a producer as early as next month. Aldis has no deal in place and is said to be interested in both AEW and WWE. Aldis did clean jobs on the way out to Alex Shelley and Eric Young. I don't give a shit about that.
Wait, so he's getting as a producer. They're Eddie Kingstinging him. He's like 35. What is happening? That is crazy.
I didn't even know about the producer thing until I just read that, which is kind of crazy. So my instant thought about this is I don't care because I'm not a big Nick Aldis guy, but I'm gonna give some flavor to it. He would work with Cody first, and that would probably be it. I think that would be all that would any interest.
The one good thing. Yeah, I mean, like that, like, because I liked their match at All In. Like, I didn't think it was bad. I enjoyed it quite a lot.
Might be Nick Aldis' best.
Probably the best. Yeah, I was about to say probably the best Magnus match of all time. Yeah, I just find that hilarious that they're like maybe we'll get you as a producer. Like, I love that so much because, like I said, like I'm not big Nick Aldis guy, but he's like 38, you know, like he's in his late 30s. It's not like he's like 50 trying to get a job at WWE.
He's younger than LA Knight.
Yeah, like he's a relatively young guy for the WWE roster, and they're like, let's keep you behind the scenes, brother. It's like, what are you? It's crazy.
I almost like, I think in my head, like, would they just give him like the Adam Pearce spot? Like, go from agent to on-screen general manager? Because after all, the best thing Nick Aldis can do is present himself well. Yeah. And like, otherwise, like, I think he stinks. I don't think he offers all that much to AEW, especially. This
Oh
thing.
no.
He's interested in both AEW and WWE. Wow, he's interested in the two top companies in America. I'm stuck.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
He's coming from
The guy who
Impact. Where
hates
else would he go?
wrestling in Japan. The guy who hates wrestling in Japan
Oh,
is
yeah.
like the other two places. I'm gonna go there.
No word on Ring of Honor though. That's a shame. Anyways, I have like Nick Aldis. To me, he's a fine mid-carder for WWE. He's an absolute no-go for AEW. He doesn't bring all that much to the table. He's better off being a big fish in a small pond than the other way around.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, because, and I'm not gonna act like I watched a ton of NWA, but I think it's pretty safe to assume that like he was a highlight of NWA for the time that he was there, because it's like there weren't many. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, like he has worth. Like, I'm not saying he's like worthless. Get him out. Like, I don't really care that much to be like a hater of him, but like, yeah, no, I feel like you would especially get messed up if he went to AEW, because he's definitely a Collision guy. He's definitely going on Collision.
He would. Oh yeah, let's not do that. The Colliders don't want to make all this on Collision, and I do. So I will look at it this way: for the guys that do make it out of NWA that have some ability, LA Knight, Ricky Starks, Eddie Kingston, those are probably the big three. If I had to think off the top of my head,
Yeah,
NWA
I mean, and
right?
probably like Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa, yes, of course. I think the women are always a little bit different when it comes to NWA.
That's true. NWA usually has a
some good
decent crop
prospects
of women on their roster. Yeah.
Yeah, they still got some good prospects. So I look at, and I think prospects that some companies should continue to look at. I mean, they were the home for Kylan King for a little bit there.
Yeah.
And Impact finally picked her up, thankfully, because again, I don't know what we do with women's wrestling. We'll get to women's wrestling later on. Don't you worry, folks. But I think Aldis could be a guy that fits into that LA Knight type role of getting over. Now, he doesn't have the catchphrases and stuff like that, but for WWE, he could be a fine heel, fine mid-card heel to feud with like LA Knight.
Oh, that is the whitest matchup. I'm sorry, like just
it's bad.
Think about that for a second. No,
the match would be awful.
This is a bad comparison because I don't think he's this good, and I hope nobody mishears me on this. I think he could be a good like William Regal-esque commissioner type of role.
Yeah,
When you were mentioning that, I was like, oh, that would be really like I think that would actually fit him. Again, William Regal was great in that role back in the day, and William Regal is just good in general. But yeah, I think he could fit in something like that, or like I'm not a huge WWE guy. I'm not going to be upset if he goes there, if he doesn't. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't. I think that's probably the place for him if they want him at this rate.
Nick Aldis is essentially just Wade Barrett. That's what he is.
That's crazy. I could see it though.
Like it's pretty similar guy. They pretty well built.
English. Yeah, but I liked Wade Barrett at one point.
Yeah, when it was Bad News. Is that when you like him?
Yeah, in part. I was like an avid hater of the Nexus because I was a child. But like in hindsight, I was like, you know what, he did good work there. I mean, like I respect that type of stuff.
Instead of Bad News Barrett, he can be Madman Magnus or something stupid.
They already have a Madcap, my man. You can't.
No, they changed his name, I think, back to Riddick. Not that it matters.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to our second news story of the week. We talked about Nick Aldis for way too long. So buckle up, folks. But our next story is about the world of Joshi. So I'm pretty sure Ryan would not have had us talk about this had it just been me and him. But since Dylan's here with me, we can have a fun little conversation about this. Since I haven't really talked about it on my own shows, just because like I play it careful with these Joshi promotions that are popping up. And I'm especially playing it careful with a Joshi promotion that is set to start in September, and I don't even know the name of the company yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's pretty nameless. I don't think they have a venue that is announced even.
Just New York City, baby.
Yeah, big city, by the way.
Just gonna run Madison Square Garden.
Should be insane.
Or like what's the little building part of Madison Square Garden that like didn't AAA run in or something once upon a time?
Following in the footsteps of AAA is where you want to be as a independent company.
Yes, it is. But yeah, so it was announced per PW Insider, of course, the only source of news for this, unless you want to ask me, because I think Fightful had reported on my part that I had heard about it last year. Which I will say a lot of the reports are kind of falling in tune with what I heard. So I'm not getting too excited yet.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm dying over here. I'm dying. But anyways, the point is that the two names locked in for that first show are none other than Seedling's Beyond the Sea champion Arisa Nakajima, who, mind you, does not like America, and
Hate
second, Tomoka Inaba, who is
Never
obviously
been to
one of the
America.
best prospects on the Joshi scene today. Someone I was hoping would be in the 5-star Grand Prix, someone I was hoping would just, leave Just Tap Out, but she has not yet. So instantly there's a lot more interest now, I think,
Yeah.
from everyone, because of course Bull Nakano's connected to this, but Bull Nakano's not wrestling. So like,
She's
no
also
offense
been
to
connected
Bull.
to other things in the past. Like she
Right.
was like the Shimmer. She was both the
Yes.
Shimmer and Stardom commissioner at different points, and
Yes.
like nobody really thinks about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like my best example is like West Coast Pros bringing in Kenta Kobashi and like Manami Toyota
Yeah,
within the
which
next
is
couple months.
dope, but like that's
Awesome.
not, you
But that
know.
doesn't mean that they're gonna step in the ring tomorrow and wrestle or anything. So right now it's Nakajima and Inaba. What are your feelings on the promotion right now? And obviously the first two announcements.
Yeah. So I have learned to be a bit not suspicious, but
Mm-hmm.
just kind of slow with the new
Careful.
wave of Joshi companies in America. Um, and this is definitely like the one that I'm the most like, okay, that's interesting. Because yeah, so they must have a lot of money. That's the part of it is because and this is like a pretty well known fact around like the Joshi scene is that Arisa Nakajima just fucking hates America. She does not like wrestling in America. She does not like being in America. She said during like the COVID when everybody was doing like Zoom live streams and stuff, she said on a live stream with Sekigun, she just ripped into America for like 10 minutes straight, just being like, their food is terrible. They didn't pay me well enough. I hated wrestling there. The fans suck. Like, she just does not like it here. So it's crazy she's the first name. You know what I mean? Like Tomoka, I get. Like I'm sure most wrestlers want to wrestle in America at least once. Like even if Tomoka is very content with just being at Just Tap Out right now or just being in Japan,
Yeah.
I imagine most wrestlers want to wrestle abroad from whatever country they're in at some point. I'm excited that she's going to be able to do that. I think she's phenomenal. She's one of the best young wrestlers in the world. But yeah, it's an interesting pairing, especially because, and we talked about this briefly a couple days ago when when the news dropped, that it's like you took two aces of their respective
Yeah.
companies.
Mm-hmm.
So how long term are you thinking with this? Maybe not long term, but
Right.
how ingrained is this roster going to be? You know what I mean? And I don't think I
Yeah.
expected it to be like this, like, they're coming over to America full time, whoever it is. But it is interesting that they grabbed, somebody who is, I don't know if she's an owner, but like very high up, one of the few like very integral roster members of Seedling, and also
Mm-hmm.
Tomoka Inaba. I almost said Watanabe, Jesus. And
Oh,
Tomoka Inaba,
Jesus
who
Christ.
is basically the head
Shut
of,
it down.
yeah, she's the head of the Just Tap Out women's division. Like she
Yeah.
helps train them. She is basically always the champion. You took it off her, so she's not anymore. But like she's the top JTO trained wrestler in JTO. So it's kind of hard to see how long term these first two are in terms of like, oh, are they gonna be out on these shows? How many
Yeah.
shows are gonna be? Like it makes me more intrigued, but also kind of confused and like, okay, give me more information because I don't know what's going on right now.
Right. So here's my cracked ass big head thinking for everyone. If you want my hope for this, the best case scenario with this Joshi promotion, whatever it is that it's not US based. It's just having their first show in the US. That would be, to me, your best case scenario type thing. Because like you said, there is a lot of Joshi promotions popping up. Of course, the Joshi Pod running one of them. And, has a fun little show together over in California set for the end of the year. And then you, of course, have Spark Joshi that popped up a few months ago, ran 2 shows. I don't think has announced anything since.
They haven't aired even. I don't.
No, they haven't aired even, no DVDs or anything. Heard the shows were fun. There's a title out there. I think Miyu Yamashita has it.
Ram
but
is
otherwise,
taking all of her shows. She has a belt.
I know. Yeah, I think there's 2 belts. They both have them. But I think the discussion is like, what is this company going to be? Is it just going to be US and they're going to bring these people over? Because we went from, in the first announcement, that they had wrestlers signed to contracts, to now 2 of the top dogs in their respective promotions in the Joshi world jumping into this show. And I think off of that, it's more per date contracts. Contracts were a little, contracts is a very broad term. And I think a lot of people got excited for like, oh, they have like real, to me, based off Arisa Nakajima, especially, it's not a contract. It's more of a, hey, come in and compete on the show type situation. But my point was with the not third promotion, that was kind of where I was getting. If this is a Joshi promotion that is going to run a decent amount, more than once every quarter, then maybe we can get excited about, because the Bushiroad aspect obviously is interesting. The tease of a former Stardom wrestler coming out of retirement is interesting. But to me, it needs to be much more. We need an announcement soon by August, because again, if you're running a show in September, you need to be a real thing if you're going to run that soon. And it's been years in the making, but still, you need to let us know what's coming. I'm sure this upcoming week we'll get our next batch of leak, for this company. That seems what we're doing. We're slowly leaking it out. But my ultimate thing is sit back, wait. Don't doubt it, because I think Inaba and Nakajima instantly should, create excitement.
I also wonder who that retired Stardom wrestler is, right? Because like obviously there's plenty of wrestlers who have retired in Stardom, but it's like yeah, I mean, like I've been making the joke it's gonna be homegirl Leo Onizaki, who won 1 match, but she was born to beat you, don't you know? Like it could be anywhere from there to like I don't know. A lot of I'm not going to, but a lot of Stardom wrestlers like came out of retirement and are just like softly retired. Like, because I was thinking, oh, maybe like Harukaze or Harukaze.
Right. You could literally
she's
say
around.
Yeah.
She's not retired. So it's like it depends on how true that wording is. Because like you said,
exactly,
when you say, oh, they're signed to contracts, it's like, okay, what do you mean by that? When you say former retired Stardom wrestler, do you mean a former Stardom wrestler or a retired wrestler who compete?
Right.
Like, what I mean? Like it's very, you need to be exact with the sort of things that
like,
you don't have the
like, should I get my hopes up for Yoko Bito, or is it just going to be like someone that wrestled in Stardom, retired, and is now around?
Yeah, that's what I mean. And like an act would be cool, but like that's still not a retired. Like you get what I mean. Is that's like
it is worth
the
noting.
Information
Act did pull out of the Kitsune Pro Wrestling show. So.
That's true.
As did Natsumi Sumikawa. So
both former Stardom wrestlers.
Both former Stardom wrestlers who retired.
That's true. See, that's what I mean. Is that's like they
could
like,
make you think.
That's possible. You never really know.
Yeah.
I'm interested, but I'm definitely wary about it because it's a month away. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real here. It's like a month and a half.
Well, I said to myself, I was like, should I like think of going to this? I was like, I can't yet. I don't know what day it is. And I don't know where it is, and I don't know what's gonna be there. So it's like one of those situations where I'm almost just better off trying to go to All-Star Junior Festival instead.
Yee.
With just based off the rumor of Julia being there.
It's gonna
That
be
might be
3 times your rent, buddy. Aren't those tickets like like $2,000 for no reason?
No, they're not that bad.
Or are they
Well,
not?
some of them are. I mean, a lot of the back seats were already taken, so now they're a little
Gotcha.
higher. I'll be patient. Julia hasn't been announced yet, so I'm not gonna, sprint there. But anyways, that's enough for the news. Let's get on to our 4 topics of the day. Where do we want to start?
That's up to you, buddy.
You know what? I think the G1 is going to be a pretty healthy conversation. So we'll start with the G1 Climax. G1 33. The biggest wrestling tournament, at least in terms of size, because there are 32 people, can confirm.
I don't know. I think
has
one of
the
those
most
catch the
people.
waves. I think one of those catch the waves might have had more people.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
if we
true.
could call it the biggest.
All right. The most famous wrestling tournament today. Is that fair?
It's still active because King of the Ring. But round
Yeah,
robin.
King of the Rings. King of the
Round
Rings is long
robin.
dead. I don't know. We're not going to act like King of the Ring exists. King Woods forever. Yeah. So the G1 Climax. That is your, main tournament that everyone knows. Everyone gets excited for. I don't know why, but everyone gets excited for it. And we had a great preview 2 weeks ago. Chris Sampson helped us break it down. Help me get more excited for it. I hope we got more people that are listening to this excited for it. However,
you really buttered it up. Like I was excited for it. I was like, oh, you know what? He making it sound like tasty. You know what I mean? I'm ready for this.
Yeah. And we're heading into what I think is probably their best week of the entire tournament. They got Korakuen, and then Oda 3 days in a row. So
two best arenas in pro wrestling, in my opinion.
Yeah,
those are my 2 favorite, personally.
One of them's the Muto special in the main event. So, I mean, can't complain there. But we're going to talk about the tournament so far. There's been a lot of days to this tournament so far. Me and Ryan, last week, we only talked about day 1. Neither of us have watched day 2 yet. So we have day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe that's it. Yes, we have 6
7
days.
Today, or was that 6?
I think today was 6.
Okay. Because I watched day 5.
Ryan, I need you. This is 6.
Today was 6.
Yeah.
Finley Evil was 6. Okay.
Yeah. So we have 5 of the 6 days to talk about. Here are your standings as of today. Block A, Sonata leads with 3-0, 6 points. Kaito Kiyomiya sits at 2-0-1 with 5 points. Chase Owens sits at 2-1 with 4 points. Gabe Kidd sits at 2-1 with 4 points. Ren Narita is 0-1-2, sitting with 2 points. Shota Umino is 0-1-2, sitting with 2 points. Yota Tsuji, 0-2-1 at 1 point. I've never seen Yota Tsuji win a match. That is actually facts. I've never seen this guy win a match. Hikuleo sitting at 0-3 with 0 points. And I had a joke for Ryan that I'm not going to save till next week. I'm going to say it now. He keeps telling me Yota Tsuji's the guy. He's all in on Yota Tsuji. This guy can't beat anyone. You want me to be on a loser? I mean, don't get me wrong.
Funny.
I know Shooter also doesn't have wins, but you know what? He doesn't have 2 losses.
None of our. I'm a Ren Narita guy. I love Pain. That's obviously. None of our guys. None of our guys are popping up. It's funny that you mentioned that you've never seen Yota Tsuji win a match, because even back in the day, he just kept drawing against Yuya Uemura. I don't know if I've ever seen him win a match, and I was watching actively, like when he was like getting good in the Young Lions division, and he just always drew with homeboy.
He's got to stop Gene Blaster, and he's got to find himself a way to win, because he's not doing too shabby. Oh, actually, no, he is doing.
He's doing very shabby.
He's doing very shabby. That doesn't even make sense. Whatever. B Block, Kazuchika Okada sits at 3-0 with 6 points. Taichi with 2-1 and 4 points. Yoshihashi with 4 points. Will Ospreay with 4 points. Tangaloa at 2 points. Kenta at 2. Great O'Khan at 2. And El Phantasmo, rest in peace to his grandfather who passed away, at 0 points.
That's rough. Not the well, the grandfather thing is obviously rough.
Being 0-3 is rough too.
Yeah, especially because I had him as like the big surprise in
Yeah.
the finals. I
Chris
don't think he's
Sampson
even.
pitched him to us as like a possible.
Yeah, because like I was thinking about it's like I mean him beating Will and just like shocking Will and then that being like a thing going on, because Will's U.S. champion, and if
Yeah.
Will may or may not be leaving, I'm not a big El Phantasmo guy, but I can definitely see him winning the U.S.
Oh,
belt.
me either.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
honestly, like him over Will makes sense. Like it
Mhm.
isn't unimaginable. So I was like, oh, like he's gonna kind of have a show up here and he's gonna do pretty well, and then he's gonna upset Will, and that's gonna be a whole thing. He's gonna lose eventually, whatever. And he's just not. I like he's like a match away from being out of contention or something
He
like
has more
that,
points than Tangaloa. He has less points than Tangaloa.
which is rough. 'Cause Tangaloa
Yeah.
can't move.
No. No.
Yeah, it's
No.
B block is interesting in the way
Yeah.
that it's
We
like,
should end it right now. Tai Chi's top 2.
yeah, no, that's what I mean. Is that it's like in the way that it's like Taichi and Okada. I mean, like, and Will, if you want, I mean, I'm not a big Will guy. A lot of people are. I'm not gonna discredit you for like,
Tai Chi lost to Okada, but he beat Osprey. He's in. He's
yes,
in. He's got the
yeah,
advantage
he
right
does
now,
have the
baby.
advantage. He has the tiebreaker. But yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Taichi fan. I think Okada's great this year, especially. Like, just just call it now. We good. Like, I think we're cool. I don't need to
Lock
see
it
any
up.
more. We had the best match of the block probably.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it was so good. We'll get to that. We also had Block C, David Finley sitting at 3-0 with 6 points. What the? Alrighty then. Evil with 4, Eddie Kingston with 4, Tamatonga with 4, Mikey Nichols with 2, Hanare with 2. I learned that he changed his name the other day.
I don't care. I saw
I
that too.
know.
I was like, oh,
I was
okay.
like, when did he get rid of the Aaron? We can't call him the Aaron anymore. That's why.
I'm still calling him the Aaron.
Shingo Takagi at 2. What is wrong with this
That's
tournament?
crazy.
And Tomohiro Ishii at a whopping 0, as expected.
It's wild that people thought like Ishii was viable in final.
I feel
you know what I mean?
disrespected with the Shingo placement right now.
Me too.
He better win on out or something because this is disgusting behavior.
I mean, that's a rough lineup. I mean, we'll get into a couple key matches in a bit, and I can kind of get into the issues with C block and the surprises of C block. But yeah, crazy lineup there, and it's crazy that Shingo isn't just dominating the field. You know what I mean? Feels like that was like what it was meant for outside of David Finley. But he's just not.
It's wild. And then in D block, we got Zack Sabre Jr. 6 points, Jeff Cobb at 6 points, Hiroki Goto at 4 points, Tetsuya Naito at 4 points, Shane Haste with 2, Hiroshi Tanahashi with 2, Toru Yano with 0, and Alex Coughlin with 0.
Yeah.
That's what you get for cutting the promo of the year. Allegedly. I didn't think it was a promo of the year, but
Me neither. Yeah, no. War Dogs. I think that's. Do you want to get into a couple of the matches? Because I feel like that's the first big thing we need to talk about. Is the War Dogs?
The rough dogs. The
Yeah.
fake Bullet Club, you mean? The fake Bullet Club? I'm going to say it on here right now, folks. Bang Bang Gang reigns supreme, baby.
100%.
Juice Robinson, they couldn't lace Juice Robinson boots.
Oh no. I mean, come on.
Any of them.
Juice Robinson,
like Clark.
Juice Robinson has more natural charisma in his pinky than and that is the issue with David Finley. I'm gonna be real. I've been thinking about this because I don't talk about New Japan.
Too, so.
I do not talk about New Japan like on any podcast really. I pretty much just keep it to myself. I might text you or Xavi, but I was really thinking about it. It's like David Finley was such a perfect +1 for Juice Robinson. I thought he was
white meat baby face. It's fine.
Yeah, but that was his perfect role. Is that it's like, oh, he's the guy who tags with him during the G1. You know what I mean? When Juice needs a tune-up tag against his opponent, David's there and he has a good showing in the tag match. Even on their more high-profile tag team matches, I thought that Finn Juice was good. who let this guy? Who let them say, you know what? You more than that, because it's just not. He got outworked by 2023 Mikey Nichols, like
Shout out
actively.
2023 Mikey Nichols.
Bro, like I wasn't expecting him to be so good, but he was kind of killing it. And I watched the match between Finley and Mikey. I was like, oh yeah, Mikey was like he carried that match. Like it wasn't a great match by any means, but he actively like was the one making it an interesting and compelling and decent match. And I was like, that's rough for the leader
Yeah.
of the Bullet Club. Yeah.
As I said, bang bang gang on top.
Oh, 100%.
I think the best way to start off this is with the Bullet Club fellas, since they're kind of all spread across this. Chase Owens is disastrous. Gabe Kidd's lame. You know what? You know what's funny? I thought the whole entire like point of the War Dogs was to like beat people up in the beginning and then just lose. I was shocked to see that Gabe Kidd had 2 wins. When I when I came onto this, I clearly haven't been paying attention. I'm not watching every Gabe Kidd match. I think I watched his match with Brendan Rita. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was the only match of Gabe's that I was like willing to really get into.
Somehow
It
somehow
was a
Gabe
good
won.
match.
I was stunned.
Stupid.
Poor
Not
Red
fun,
Narita.
yeah.
Having the 3 Musketeers all with 0 is truly painful. But where's the rest of my Bullet Club? They are Bullet Club. Kenta woke up a few times. He's fun. Yeah.
I love Kenta. Kenta's one of my favorite male wrestlers like ever. It is really funny when he just like randomly is like, you know what, I think I'm gonna
the best thing. He can do it whenever he wants.
Oh,
people
100%.
Like he can't do it anymore. I'm like, no, he can. He just doesn't.
I remember last year for like a week, he was promoting his book and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna try my best and I'm gonna promote my book afterwards. And I was like, win the belt and promote your book with it, bro. Like you can do this. You can still do this. And then he's just like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just gonna chill, bro. And I was like, you could like, because literally for years I've been like, Kenta is still viable. Like when he's in a high profile situation, he can deliver better than like a lot of people still. That's why I don't think he's like washed inherently. I've compared him to someone we'll talk about a little bit later. I've compared it to Momo Watanabe. That's like they could be the best wrestler in the world if they want. Like really, if they really wanted to, and
they can
like,
whenever they want.
Yeah, if they really just had the idea, it's like, oh, I'll be the best today. They just could.
No, the one difference between them is obviously Kenta's had plenty of injuries of freakishness. Yeah. So he's probably just at this point like, I don't feel like caring anymore. I get paid a lot of money to not care. But he did wake up a few times so far, and I appreciate that because again, Kenta can be one of the best in New Japan anytime he feels like it. He's not booked to feel like it, so why should he feel like it, as I like to say. David Finlay, we already talked about him. I'm good with that. Evil's being evil.
Evil is evil. He's an evil guy.
What else do I got to say about Evil? This is a pro-evil podcast, baby. We only respect evil on this show.
He's really grown on me. Like he's just funny, bro. Like
he's gonna be an incredible baby face the moment they feel like
100%.
And they didn't. I read that they didn't do it with David Finlay.
No.
And I thought that was stupid.
I don't know what happened with the date. Like, cause like I was like, there was nothing on Twitter about it, and I like went into a Discord. I was like, so who won? And someone was like, oh, Finlay, and I was like,
they just made that a main event match and didn't do a big thing with it.
Yeah, I was like, are you going to tell me anymore? It's like, no, that's it. I was like, what is happening? Like that was like the one like Bullet Club Civil War is meant to be fun. Like it's always kind of meant to be like Civil Wars in general and tournaments are always meant to be fun. I used to always wait for the Evil Sonata matches back when they were in LIJ together, just because I was like, that's when they're gonna have their best match. You know, I mean, they're gonna really go out for it. And it's like Evil did his shtick. From everything I saw, and it's like that's like I like it. I think it's really funny, but it didn't look like it was like it amounted to anything like as a match. And I was like, wow, like that's the one place that you have to like really showcase Bullet Club in a way that isn't just what you've been doing lately. And they just didn't, and that was an odd choice.
And then there's Alex Coughlin sitting at 0-3 and not impressing
He
me
really
as much as I hoped for.
Yeah, he made me upset because I was like, oh, Shane Hayes is like selling his ass off for him, and he's just not doing anything with it. You know what I mean? I was like, I know you can do something. I know you can. It was just,
it
both
was
clips
disheartening.
Yeah.
It was disheartening. But let's get to some of the nights. Let's hit night 2. Anything from night 2 that you think is worth discussing? I already talked about Shingo and Eddie last week. Had a lot of fun with that one. But they definitely have a better match in them.
Yeah, no. I think Aaron got like dropped on his head, which was like really wild. The first taste of Mad Mikey Nichols, who now is like earning his nickname because he is a fucking madman.
Just had to let him cook.
Like like we'll get into it, but yeah, like that was the only. I didn't watch that match altogether. I just watched like kind of
You watched the end when he killed
yeah,
him.
exactly. And so like that was cool, but other than that, the show was fine.
Yeah. Speaking of fine, let's go to day 3. We had Ren Narita and Yota Tsuji go to a draw, continuing the Three Musketeers draws all around scenario. Like I said, Yota Tsuji, big loser. Can't win matches. Yoshihashi versus Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay took down Yoshihashi. They were playing to what they did the first match with him and Taichi, where he was taking it a little too easy, but he was able to finish him off this time around. Shout out Yoshihashi.
Love Yoshihashi.
Just want to give him credit. The match that pissed me off the most, Sonata versus Shota Umino. And I'll say why it pissed me off, because Shota Umino just beat Sonata's ass for like 10 minutes and then just lost. It was like death fall, you lose. And I was like, what? Huh? What? Why would you do that?
Because Sonata's just that guy, man.
That is not what I was thinking at the time. I was ready to slander Sonata, who I've been supportive of this whole time. But I took it back. I was like, whatever, it's fine. I thought Shooter looked good, and then he just lost. So, like I said, you can't do much about that. And what else happened on this show? Kazuchika Okada defeat El Phantasmo in the main event.
Yeah, I only, from that show specifically, that's the only show I only watched one match. It was the Ren Narita Yota Tsuji match, because I watched it late and you were like so upset about the Sonata thing. I was like, you know what? I'm not like, I don't think I even need to watch that one. You know what I mean? Because I love Sonata, I love Shota Umino, but like I know the type of match they probably had, and I'm just like, oh, that is kind of annoying.
So. The way I go through these matches, everybody, by the way, is this is what I've watched. I'm not talking. I refuse to talk about anything I didn't. You know who could do that? Ryan next week.
It's crazy because like I've seen people be like just name matches that I didn't know happened and are like, oh, that was great. like oh, David Finlay Ishii, incredible. I'm just like, that is a match that happened already. Like I still don't know.
Incredible, by the way. I watched.
Yeah, I didn't think so. But like, you know, like I was like, that happened. Like I didn't like, that's crazy. But yeah, I don't know if I would be alive if I was watching all the way through all of these shows, because there are great things on the G1. I'm not trying to be too Debbie Downer here. There are some great matches.
We're gonna get to it. We just haven't gotten to it. That's the problem.
But yeah, it's just some of it's real rough.
It's there. Like, okay, I'm gonna use my complaints now. Like, everyone complains about Stardom. Like, some of their pay-per-views have a lot of filler. The G1 has 4 filler matches every night.
Yes.
Every single night. And they're tournament matches. You're not supposed to have filler matches.
The pre, like you could skip the tag matches, but if you wanted to, they were little teasers. Like that was always super fun. You know what I mean? I loved those filler matches.
This is just,
but the thing is that this is meant to matter. You know what I mean? It's like they're like, no, but these still matter. Like these are very important to the overall product. And I was like, why do you make it like that? That's odd.
Day 4, Jeff Cobb defeated Alex Coughlin in a fine opening match. The best part was obviously Coughlin dead pressing Jeff Cobb. That was insane, and that's all I remember from the match. So
I saw a gif of that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Eddie Kingston lost to Evil.
That was the only match that I've seen people like really shit on, and I was like, "There's no way." Like, I didn't think it was.
I didn't think it was that bad.
I thought that like Evil could do better. Like just in terms of
Yeah.
like the way that Evil works, like he can do better with his gimmick than he got here with Eddie. But like I was like, there's no way this is the one match that people are like, this is the outrage. Like
Yeah,
I was so amazed by that.
that was fine.
Yeah, it was a fun match.
Aggressively fine for what I expected. I thought they could have had a lot more fun with it.
Yeah,
but
no, that was exactly my problem. Is that it's like, dude, Evil, I've seen you have like really fun matches against like, unknowing baby faces. Like
I watched you have one good match with Tamatonga, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
That's Ryan. Ryan brings that match up every single time that he possibly can, and I just realized that happened this week, and he didn't get to talk about it. Oh well,
Poor guy.
Maybe next time. We had Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Shane Haste. I actually had fun with this match. I thought it was pretty good. I thought Tanahashi, for what Tanahashi is, mind you, had a fine little match here. I like what Shane Haste is doing. So I just want to give them their respect. They had a solid wrestling match here in the G1 Climax.
Yeah, I mean, I worry for Tanahashi. I feel like he's kind of getting exposed this year a bit more.
Oh, he sure is.
This wasn't like a terrible
That's
match
why he
by
dressed
any
like Pretty Diddley.
Yeah. Did you say diddly?
Yep.
That's crazy. No,
Yes,
but
boy.
yeah, I don't know. I love Hiroshi Tanahashi, but he's kind of getting exposed this year because this wasn't a terrible match, like I said, but it was
He's
just
slow.
not. Yeah, like
he's not Tanahashi.
yeah, it's rough, and because it's just rough, and I told you about this. That's like, when Yuji Nagata was like ramping up to his last G1, it was a huge deal, and like he was around Tanahashi's age now, right? He was he was late 40s. He could still go. He can still go now, but like he was just like, you know what? Let's just call it. Let's just be frank. I'm not going to be able to do this for much longer. I'm just going to call it a day now. I'm not saying that necessarily Tanahashi needs to do that immediately, but it kind of puts into perspective where we're at, where it's like, okay, we're going to need to start slowing down. And it's rough.
There's also a reality, and this is my best way to tell you where Tanahashi is now in his career. He might have the worst sling blade in wrestling besides Taker. After obviously having the best forever. He like every time he hits it, it just looks so painful for him.
It looks like he's like it's gonna be his last, Where it's like, oh, you're falling on your side. That doesn't. Oh, that.
Yeah, it makes me sad. It makes me sad, and I don't want to be sad when I watch Hiroshi Tanahashi wrestle. It's just not the way it goes.
I feel like if they like really, and this is a bit, but I feel like if they really wanted to keep him at like a high level, he can 100% just fully be a tag guy and do incredible stuff, right? Like, and I think putting him with Okada is kind of not great because Okada still has plenty to do. But I think like you could really put him with pretty much anybody, and like he's still a great tag wrestler. Oh no, I love
just
it,
put him with Shooter.
Yeah, because it's
Shooter
like
carry him through the matches.
The problem with Okada is just that it's like he has stuff to do. You know what I mean? Like he can't win the tag belts because he's gonna be in a singles match at Wrestle Kingdom, regardless of if he's a champion or not. He's Okada. That's how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't put the tag belts on him. But Tanahashi definitely can still be a great tag wrestler. I mean, some of my favorite matches have been his stuff with Ishii and Okada this year. Like they have been a great 6-man stuff, and I think that he has that lane he could really rely on moving forward. But yeah, this is a rough tournament for him for sure.
Shingo Takagi lose to Hanare. I have to yell it every time because it's all caps now.
It is all caps.
I liked this match better than their 80-minute triathlon that they had a few months ago. That got like 5.5 stars from Dave, and I was like, "What? Really? That? Really?" That was one of the few times. Like usually, I don't give a shit about Dave ratings, but that was one of the times.
Like it's a little sus. I was like, I
was like, I don't think so. I thought it was hard hitting. It was quick. It was a lot quicker, so that made it a lot better.
That's the key.
It was the same match, just without all of the waiting around. So yeah, I don't think it's anything to write home. I don't think it's like one of the best matches of the tournament. I've seen some people put it in their top 5. It's not in my top 5, but if you like hard hitting matches and you're a Hanare guy, don't talk to me.
Yeah, that's one hill to die on for sure.
yeah. Hiroki Goto and Tetsuya Naito had a match, and this is when I think the tournament hit me in the face of how sad I was watching the D block. I was like, man, there was a time I was excited for Tanahashi and Naito and Goto. That time was 2 years ago, even.
Yeah.
Now I'm sitting here just wanting the matches to, almost end. Like, I know Naito can flip the switch whenever he feels like it. He does it from time to time. I'm not saying he should have to do it all the time, but I'm a little sad.
Yeah, D block was kind of what I was looking at as like the very like, okay, this is you shouldn't have bad matches from here. Like just because like none of them are like low quality wrestlers. Like even Alex Coughlin, when he is on and when he's not doing the war dog shtick, he has a lot of upside for sure.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, like everybody in here is good. I'm obviously a big Shane Hayes guy. I think he can turn it on definitely as well.
No weak links.
Yeah, like it was just a pretty middle of the road, but it was solid. And then you kind of sit down and watch it, and it's like, oh, like I don't want to watch this anymore. I was like, oh, that's sad. Like I totally get your sentiment there because it is like oh, because the other blocks have such weak points, but also such high points that it's like you kind of take what you can get. But with D block, it feels like it's all skippable. And I love Zach. I love Jeff. I love Naito. Like I said, I like all the guys in this block for the most part. But it's just something ain't clicking, and I think it's just not. It's not the year for whatever this is. I mean, whatever.
Also, Yano on the block. So
yeah, and I actually enjoyed a Yano match for the first time in a minute. It was the Zach match. I thought. That
I heard a lot of people like the Zach one. I couldn't get myself to watch it.
It was just stupid. Like Zach was clearly counted out, but the referee's like, "Oh, he like can't get back because he was tied." like he taped him up, and he's like, and like Zach is like doing this bit where it's like, "Oh, I'm falling over," and then he started realizing, "Oh, I can't, I can't make it to the ring." So the ref just stopped at like 16 and was like, "Please hurry up." It was a funny little moment in time, but yeah.
And then Tim Tonga beat Tomohiro Ishii. All right, let's get to the good day of this tournament.
Kinda.
I don't have all the matches in front of me. It was the funny part is the good day of the tournament has the worst match of all time.
Yeah.
So this was the show that had Chase Owens versus Hikuleo. You knew it had to happen, folks. You knew it was coming.
It was like
they were in the same block.
Oh man.
There were so many people on my timeline that were like, why I watch it? I was like, I don't know, because I can't imagine you sat down for Chase Owens versus Hikuleo and thought this might surprise me.
No, some people watched it live, like
sure.
my friend Velke, right? He watched it live and he was like, this was like an experience. Like it was so ungodly terrible that like it made me see wrestling different. That's what he was saying, is that it's like he had a awakening that's like it was so bad. And so I saw that, and I saw some people like just being like just the most outlandish things about this match. I got a text that was like, hey, you need to see this. It was the worst match I've ever seen. And I was very morbidly curious. So I did watch it. I did, and I went out of my way after the fact to watch it, which is probably sicker than just watching it live just because you're there.
Yeah.
It was like, it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. That's the thing, is that it's like I wanted to laugh at certain points because it was so bad, but at the same time I was like, I don't want to give this match the credit of me laughing at it right now. Like it's so bad. Like it's not The Room. You know what I mean? It's something far worse. like I just didn't know how to react to it, and it just how do they make me feel so bad for Hikuleo? Like, like he is so much better than this, and he's not that great. Like he's a fine guy. Like he's a fine wrestler.
I can't believe they had him beat Jay White.
Yeah, like, and then they had him lose to Chase Owens. Like, what is happening?
He's 0-3, baby.
Like, no, that's and like that's what I mean. Is that it's like I'm not a Hikuleo diehard by any means, but I'm just like this guy needs to be treated better because like
That-
this was rough.
that's how bad this
This
match
was
was. You're
rough.
like,
I was like,
this
there's
needs to be. Oh, it's so bad.
who
Anyway,
did that? Why would anybody do? And they had Uncle Nobu on commentaries. I saw him on commentary, and I was like, this poor man. This is like get him some
I,
whiskey. He
I would
needs
I
like
would I would have quit. I would have walked out.
like yeah.
I
And I was like, why would they do that? And I was like, oh, I guess the Just Five Guys matches near the end were good, and they were in the main event. So it's like I get that, but I was just like, this poor old junior heavyweight is just being forced to watch this.
yeah.
And like I was just like I don't know what I'm doing here. It was
It's one of
terrible.
those it's one of those matches that make you question watching professional wrestling.
Oh yeah. And then like later in the show I like it was like, oh yeah, that's why.
That's why, yeah.
But
It
it
probably
was just
made them better.
that
Like
happens sometimes. That
like there's
happens
some people
sometimes.
I follow that watch it live, like you said, and I was like, you probably think some of these matches are the greatest things ever because you watch the worst possible match of all time. It made me, and I'm going to tell everyone now, I didn't watch it. I'm not. I said on this podcast, I will not watch a Chase Owens match. I have held that over. I am not watching a Chase Owens match. That wasteless piece of shit. I am not watching him wrestle. Not happening. Will not happen. Anyway.
That's fair. I mean that's fair. No, you want to know this, and we'll get into the good stuff in a second. Obviously we both keep like match guides and whatnot.
Yeah.
This match is
Dud.
tied for the lowest rating match on my match guide with The Fiend versus LA Knight. those are the only two at the bottom. Like
At
those
least
are
one of those wrestlers are over.
yeah. I mean, I see at the time maybe, but like yeah, it was
Yikes.
that bad. It was really rough. It was a rough experience.
Yikes. Anyways, we'll get to cooler times. Ren Narita and Gabe Kidd had a cool match. Ren Narita just turned around because he knew Gabe Kidd was coming for his ass, beat him up, walked down to the ring, and then Ren Narita proceeded to lose.
Yeah, I mean that like I pinpointed this as like the only match that I was like, oh, Gabe Kidd will probably excel here because they were training
Yeah.
buddies, right, in LA Dojo.
Yeah.
That was like a
Gabe
big
does
part
good
of
when
it.
it just comes down to squaring off and not
Yeah, like he's
doing the other stuff.
if he would just shut up,
Oh, that too.
like
That too.
just like both in the ring and out, like just like if he was silent,
If he
he would
just
be
shut,
fine.
if he just
Yeah,
never
like
spoke.
he wouldn't be good. Like I wouldn't think he was like a great wrestler. Like I'm not a big Gabe Kidd guy
I
by
saw him
any
have a
means.
great match against Eddie Kingston once.
Yeah, like that's what it is. It's like I've seen him be competent. I've seen him have like really good matches. But it's just like I just don't want to watch him. Like this was a good
Yeah.
match, but it's just like it's the only one I'm gonna watch.
It's crazy how their top international team, like that they're pushing, went from Aussie Open to the War Dogs.
And that's really rough. I do mention that very frequently that it's like the UE and TMDK are such godsends as factions because it's like it allows Bullet Club to like not you know what I like do you get what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say? It's like
Oh yeah.
it like kind of like lifts a certain level of pressure. But
It's a good time to
it's
remind you the gun club's better. All right. Anyways.
that's true. That's true.
Shout out, bang bang gang in, baby.
Getting as many out as possible.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll get to a little AEW conversation later, so I'll probably bring it up somehow again. But that match was good, and then we had Kenta wake up against Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay was very determined, I think, to wake him up. It makes sense, and, I just learned this week that Ospreay got the Marufuji anniversary match. I had not been paying attention to anything. So that's cool for him, obviously.
One Night Dream.
Yes,
it was announced. Yeah.
Yeah. See, when I watched One Night Dream, I watched the special tag, and then I watched the big match, and then I just shut it off. I didn't pay attention to anything else. Which the special tag was pretty fun. Even though it had Jake Lee.
Jimmy Wang Yang, come on now.
No, I saw the end of the
You didn't miss much.
Jazzy Wang Yang match. It it was better if I just let it go.
Yeah, just yeah.
It was tough. It was a tough one. But Osprey and Kenta had a fun match. I think it's worth going out of your way to see. And then after that, we get to my 2 favorite matches of the whole damn tournament. We had,
I think mine too, or at least top 3. I would say probably.
I think top 3 healthy off the top of my head at least.
I think Ren and Shota might be like
deserved. That
over.
was probably my top 3 as
Yeah,
well. Because I just love the young guys. I don't care about anyone else. I did like Kaito and Tsuji as well. I'm looking forward to Kaito and Sonata. Kaito's been really good.
Yeah, totally. He's been like the highlight. I would like it. He's had a match with Chase Owens, which I skipped obviously, but like
of course.
You know, like, but he really has been a highlight.
I saw him hit the Shining Wizard on him. And I was like,
has to die actually.
But Kaito's been fantastic, and I thought him and Shooter had an awesome match here. I thought Shooter played such a good baby face, trying to fight back against the ace-like figure, which is kind of funny because when I was watching this, I was like, these are just the 2 guys who Kata hates the most. I was like, wow, and then look at them. They went to 20-minute draw. I thought Kaito's been really good this whole tournament. Like, he feels like such a big deal, and I say that because had he been in the N1 victory, he wouldn't have this star power because like the M1, like he's just in Noah, like you're used to it, right? In the G1, he just feels like a star that's obviously chasing Okada, but at the same time, he's having these great performances. He's beaten Tsuji, went to the draw with Shota. That's also huge for Shota getting to go to that draw, by the way. But yeah, this was the match where I watched Shota and I was like, okay, this is his bag. If we can just keep taking this, because him fighting through that figure 4 to pretty much be able to force a draw, that was great to see. And it's what I want to see out of him because I'm such a big fan of his. I'm a big fan of all 3 Musketeers, mind you. I'm not cheering against any of them. And I hope for you more when he shows up, when he appears. So I'm looking forward to him as well. But this was one of those matches where it's like, man, pro wrestling, like the future of pro wrestling is great. These 2 are great. They did this and they're going to be better. It's kind of scary Kaito's going to be better because he's been around forever, but
he's still younger than all of the or the same age as the Musketeers.
I think he's the same age as Shota, younger than Tsuji,
and then older than Ren. That would make sense.
Yeah.
So he's like right in the middle,
which is nuts. He's obviously the best out of those 4. If you're looking,
and I think that's something. Sorry to cut you off, but I think that's something that you kind of brought up with the N1 is that it's like in the N1, Kaito is like undeniable. Like he has won multiple times. He has like this he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder whatsoever. He could take a nap in every single one of his N1 matches, and it would be like, yeah, but it's Kaito. Like it was just not his year. This is a bit different, right? Now I'm not one of those people who's gonna like shit on Noah because I do enjoy Noah.
I watch Noah. I want Noah to be great.
I think a lot of people are very quick to be like, oh, well, like now Kaito's in the bit. It's like, no, he's not. This isn't like a big league situation. Calm down a little bit. Like I get the difference between the companies.
They become WWE commentators very quickly.
Yeah, it's a bit like no, like there are great wrestlers, and no, let's not get it twisted. But yeah, he really has had like this chip on his shoulder where it's like, okay, this is me in a new environment where I really need to show up, and he has showed up and showed out every single time.
He getting cheers too.
Yeah, I mean he's over like with New Japan, and that's
Shota's very over too. I've learned this tournament. This guy, definitely. Like all you hear is Shota, and I'm like, all right, see, you got that part down. You got all the glow sticks glowing. I love his entrance. I just need
he's very endearing.
One of the damn jackets. Just get rid of one.
I'm not anti-jacket. I know you've been anti-jacket this whole time.
I just want him to have his own finisher. I'll live with the Death Rider jacket.
I agree.
If he can hit his own finisher that isn't the Death Rider, I'd get over it really quickly.
He started hitting the Rampage thing, which I like. Like it's
really good, but it's not a finisher.
But I'm just like, what are we? How does he win a match? Because I don't. That's actually a question for all of these guys. So. Outside of Ren, who has one,
we know how Tsuji wins a match. He hits the spear finally, which he can't hit.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's just really interesting to think that it's like of the 3, Ren Narita's the only one that's like won matches more than once, like that you can really like think
Yeah.
about. Like he beat Zach, I believe Shota did, in a really good match. But like
Mhm.
when you think about it, it's like, oh, Ren had like an entire tournament run, and he like
Yeah.
he was the winner of this, and then like it's just funny because like Shota should be the guy winning out of the three.
He should be. He should. Well, going to the draw with Kaito was a good sign because I
Oh,
don't think
definitely.
Suji lost, and I doubt Narita will beat him.
That's the last day. That might be an upset, but I feel like Kaido probably
I
has
think
that. Yeah.
Kaito's got to be in the top 2 at this point.
Oh,
I think
definitely.
I would actually be very upset if he didn't go far, just based off what he's been
To
doing.
be fair, the alternatives at the top of the block
Right
are
now
not.
are not great.
Yeah.
Not ideal. In a good world, I keep thinking Shota or one of the 3 can make it up, but Suji's having a tough time. So he's having a real tough time. He hit that spear one time, and they said never again. Listen, you never hitting that damn thing again. But yeah, that match was great. Everyone should go check it out. And then of course, Kazuchika Okada versus Taichi. For me, match of the tournament. For you, match of the tournament.
Yes.
Taichi's just sensational. I've come on this podcast many times over the past whenever we've been doing this. And I think this is the second time Okada and Taichi have matched up since the start of this podcast. And I have gotten my hopes up that Taichi would beat Okada both times. It has not happened. And I believed it again, even though I knew he was not beating Okada. He got me again.
I watched it spoiled. And I still bit for the Gato clutch. I was like, how do you not win with that? How is that not? I was like, I was so in it, man. I mean, to be fair, not to sound like a hipster, I've been a Taichi fan like from the moment he turned heavyweight.
I can confirm that.
I think people were really just like seeing like because and this is just like a known fact. He was kind of just like an asshole who didn't try as a junior a lot of the time. Like that was just like kind of like part of that was a shtick, and part of that was just him being like immature. I think there's a lot of stories of him just kind of being a dick at that point in time. But as he's like grown both physically and just like as a person, he's really been like, oh, I'm just gonna be like I'm gonna be like the best heavyweight in the company. like just if you need me, you can call me. And it's funny because I wrote an article about Taichi a few years ago after in the fallout of his first match against Okada, his first heavyweight match, like in 2020, I believe, early 2020 was when it happened. I wrote an article about him where it's like he's getting popular and people are not recognizing this because like he got cheered over Okada, which was not happening at that point in time. Like he is so close to actually beating Okada, which also does not happen at that time. It was just like this really like I was like Taichi's like doing stuff and people need to recognize that. And now 3 years later, he still can't beat Okada, but he's I think people are starting to realize it's like, oh, he's one of the best heavyweights in the company. Like that, like he just is. Like just the way he works, the way he hits, like he just has it like at this point. And I'm so happy for him. I love this match. It was definitely my favorite match of the tournament so far. Really good stuff. Really good
I love Okada still just having to just sneak out with the win. Like,
that was perfect. I was worried.
The best way to do it.
I was getting worried. I was like, man, like Taichi's like this is getting too like good. I can't have Okada just beat Taichi.
Hit him with a Rainmaker call.
Yeah, just simply beat him. And I will say, Kevin Kelly for he's a bit hit or miss sometimes. I enjoy him sometimes, but he gave a really good call after this match where he was like, Taichi wrestled a perfect wrestling match,
and he lost.
But Okada is just fucking Okada. And I was like, oh, and that like infuriated me, but it was also like that's such a good way to like paint this. You know what I mean? Like it was such a good match. It was just a good story. It was really well done. I'm obviously upset Taichi lost. I want him to beat Okada more than anything in the heavyweight division at this point. But yeah, it was a great match.
And Okada's had, of course, a sensational year himself. So
of course.
Want to give him that respect. And then the main event, Sonata defeating Yota Tsuji as Yota Tsuji failed to hit the spear again. I like this a lot too. I think they have good chemistry. It's just funny because this was the time for Suchi to get a big win. You know, right?
would think he would have gotten that back. Like, you know what I mean?
Make up for the loss, and he just lost again. And that's when I was like, oh, he may never win. He just may never win a match. This felt like the time. Because I'm going to assume he goes to a draw with Shooter.
Yeah, if he doesn't win any matches, I mean, I hope he can't lose to, like, Chase, right?
He's
like
gotta beat Chase.
I feel like have any of
that's
the
why
three,
Chase is there. He's got to lose to all three.
I don't think none of the three have wrestled Chase. So that's the big thing, is that it's like, okay, they're gonna get 2 points. They should. All three of them should get 2 points. Slow Chase down a little bit, that would make sense.
Down. That's terrible.
I know. But that's like it's a necessity. So that should be fine. They should get like 2 points at least. But it is going to be really interesting when Yota Tsuji is still kind of perceived as like the top dog of the three, even though he just doesn't have any point. Like he'll end up at the bottom of the block, and everybody's like, yeah, but like,
that's what everyone says. He's like, well, he's him, and I'm like, oh, he can't win, so is he really him?
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think all three have been great though, so I do want to give them credit. This was the best day, even with the worst match of all time on it. Yeah, and I didn't watch today, so
yeah, I saw like a clip of the main event because I wanted to see what happened, but like I said, nothing
happened. I'll watch it eventually, but today was not that day. So we will move forward here.
I heard it was the worst overall day from trusted sources.
The worst overall day?
Yeah, just like from the top to bottom, it just wasn't worth watching overall. Because like I haven't heard anything like, oh, this is like actively the worst match, like I heard the other day, but I don't think there was any like true standout, which was the issue.
Looking at the card, it's
it'll
save me time.
Yeah,
if everyone wants to watch wrestling from today, you can watch 5-Star Grand Prix or Konosuke Takeshita versus Yuki Ueno from DDT's Wrestle Peter Pan, because that was great.
Still gotta watch that. I heard it was good.
Yeah, I won't spoil it, I guess.
No, I know what happened.
He just beat you in those breaks. It was awesome. But let's talk a little bit about AEW Blood and Guts. I was there live in attendance in Boston, Massachusetts. So
much like John Cena, who wasn't there.
Yeah, thank you for the John Cena comparison.
Had to do it.
Almost missed it. So they did a dark match.
I was gonna ask what the dark match was because my favorite match when I went to AEW a couple months ago was the dark match.
Mine was a few years ago when they still were doing dark. Yeah, because it was Emi Sakura and Mei Suruga versus Will Nightingale and Riho. It was Beast. That was the last time I went to AEW. This time it was Kip Sabian and Serpentico. Was not as Beast.
Yeah, I don't. Serpentico's a good seller, but that's
Kip
about
Sabian
it.
had a good reaction for him, though. I was a little shocked.
That's wild.
I was like, Boston likes Kip Sabian. That doesn't make sense. So yeah, let's break down the show. We don't usually break down AEW television on here, but since I was there and it was Blood and Guts, kind of like a little mini pay-per-view, I guess. Did you watch the whole show, or did you just watch Blood and Guts?
Yeah, I watched the whole show.
All right, cool.
Yep.
So we'll have some fun with this. I know Ryan wanted to come on here and absolutely shit on the dance battle. You could save that for next week. he'll be back next week. I'll make sure to remind Ryan of the dance battle because
this show was so funny.
I got everyone a bold take when I get there.
The whole time I was watching, I was like, "This is the perfect show for Scott." Just because it was like, and no spoilers. I didn't think it was a great show of television personally. But like just the things that happened on it, I was like, oh, he must hate that.
I do have one thing that will shock everyone. But I do have many complaints along the way. So don't you worry, folks. First up with Jack Perry cheating to beat Hook and end Hook's undefeated streak. In the building, this was great because people hate Jack Perry.
I sensed that. I sensed that, like, the atmosphere.
Hate this man. And listen, I can be if you listen to the show, you know how Ryan feels about Mr. Jack Perry. Not a fan. I think if he just doesn't have to talk, you get him a manager, maybe you make him go Hollywood type thing. He's like, no, this guy talks for me. I don't need to talk. Something like that. You can continue this because all they chanted for majority of the match was fuck Jack Perry. they did not like him.
They should and this is like a real. They should get him. They should bring up the wingmen, and have them just be his guys. You know what I mean? Like the
That'd be
Hollywood
pretty
guys,
funny.
Hollywood hunk.
That'd be pretty
What's
funny.
he up
That
to? You
would
know,
make
like
sense.
and
They're
just
not
like
up to anything, trust me.
just have
This-
him do like fodder. You know, have him get beat
Yeah.
every single time, and then Jack is like
You know what they
hiding behind
probably
this
do?
wall of bad wrestlers. Not bad, they're good. But,
You know what they probably do? They'd probably put the Work Horseman with him.
yeah, for no reason. Yeah,
to do like
I
the
feel like
reverse mindset.
yeah, yeah. So it's, yeah, no,
Hey, we put
that
him
would
on
be
TV.
interesting.
I wouldn't
Put
be
him on
that
TV.
upset.
Yeah, I'm rocking with it.
Hook's very over. Like he is unbelievably over for a guy that barely wrestles and has had pretty much the same match his entire career until now. But when he lost, I really did think people were gonna start throwing stuff. I really
That's
did.
true,
Like, and that means Jack Perry's working. Whether I think his promos as a heel are good or bad, it doesn't matter because it's working. People hate him in the building.
I wish he would have a bit more of a like good comeback than a Beethoven song. Like I think that I was like
They should have
really
given
like
him the
that's
90210 song or whatever.
dude. Yes, like that's what I mean. Is that it's like something like something funny, but also like oh fuck you. Like that's where I would have gone.
He
With
also
it, not
should have
like
cut his hair, but that's fine.
I don't think that he has pretty hair. I don't think
He does have pretty hair, but how do you make him more hateable? You get rid of the pretty hair, unless he like
get him in a
uses the
hair versus
pretty
hair
hair.
match.
There you go. Maybe that's you can't do that between him and Hook. That'd be devastating.
No,
That's
you could
probably
do.
what they're gonna do.
Oh wait, he hates Punk, doesn't he? I was gonna say him and Andrade.
Yeah, no, he despises.
Yeah,
CM
no,
Punk.
that ain't
I
never
still think
happening.
I still think he's the guy that said he didn't have fun at
Oh,
work
it
on
definitely
Wednesday.
was him.
Like
There's
when
no
I
doubt
saw that, I was
about it.
like, then we had MJF and Adam Cole go to local Chinese food restaurant here in Massachusetts, the Kowloon. Very famous, big place for wrestlers. They go there all the
Oh,
time.
really?
Fun fact. John Cena has like million signed things in there. John Cena, actually, fun fact for everyone, wore Kowloon sneakers at WrestleMania this year.
Oh, that's awesome, actually.
Yeah, The Rock goes there. Like they have this big wall of signed like memorabilia from like all the famous people that ever went there. A lot of it's wrestlers. But so it was kind of cool to see it on TV finally after all these years. You could literally go you could go there after any Boston show and you're guaranteed to see like the entire roster of
That's awesome.
like when NXT went there, when they did Lowell once, they are all there. I remember that vividly, but that's enough about the Kowloon. They had this little thing, and then we'll go later in the night. Then we had Britt Baker versus Kayla Sparks, and this is where our discussion happens, folks. So this caused a ruckus this week on the social webs. The social webs were talking about how, well, the conversations were, well, if there wasn't a match, people would have complained, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that is correct. I
did find that very funny because there wasn't a match advertised. And Alex was like, oh, this is going to end very badly if they still have a women's match. And I was like, yeah. Hopefully they just like throw somebody on. And like, I didn't know.
That's exactly what they did.
Of course they picked Britt Baker. And of course they picked to do it for 18 seconds.
So I can't believe that the match actually went 1 minute and 6 seconds. I am stunned. Really? Yeah. I thought it was 30 seconds. I truly thought it was 30 seconds. My friend who I went to the show with literally turned to me and said, was that even 30 seconds? I said, didn't feel like it. So I guess the discussion at hand is like, what would you have done in this scenario? Because in this scenario, right, they have it all loaded up. 3 big matches, 1 title match, tournament final, and of course Blood and Guts, which is taking up an hour. I think it was obviously a lose-lose situation, but I just wouldn't have booked Hook versus Jack Perry on this show. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna look at the times just to like get a full grasp. Yeah,
Jack Perry versus Hook was 11 minutes and 40 seconds. Britt Baker versus Kayla Sparks was 1 minute and 6. Adam Cole and MJF versus Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara was 10:44 minus the dance battle. And then
really?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Golden Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club and Company was 51 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah, like it was a difficult spot. Obviously, I'm not gonna pretend like
Absolutely.
they had the world that they could have done. But you look at some of these times that's like, and Britt Baker can't do this, but you can definitely like put in a spotty women's match and give them 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Take 40 seconds out here.
Maybe not do the dance battle.
Yeah, maybe take 2 minutes off of the Golden Elite match. Like, I mean, like, I get, like, who would have cared if it was 49 minutes instead of, like, you know what I mean? Like, like
there was so much time where all of them were in the ring.
Yeah, like you definitely could have just like tightened it up a little bit with that match. And you could have tightened it up with like Jack Perry and Hook didn't have to be 2 segments. You know, like it was fine. Like I'm not against
it. As I said, it didn't need to be on this show. No one was going to this building for that match.
Like, yeah, no, you're completely right. But like if they really want to have it on the show, it could have been a 8-minute match. Like has Hook gone more than 10 minutes ever?
This is probably as long as career match.
That's what I mean.
It's like tag match.
It's like you don't really need to. Yeah, they probably did it with like a tornado tag. I actually saw that. That was a long match. When him and Jack had a tag. But yeah, like you definitely could have like trimmed around here and gotten a 5-minute match with someone good. I don't know who they have available. Right, they always have someone good available. I'm gonna be real. In the women's division, it is not that hard. They have a lot. They have a lot of wrestlers. I don't know if you know this. I don't know. There were ways around this, and I'm not Tony Khan. I'm not going to tell him how to time manage his show. But you could have slid over a minute here, 30 seconds here.
You could have tried.
Yeah.
There was very minimal effort in this. They found a local wrestler. They said Britt Baker's our biggest star. Let's just put them out there and call it a day. And the craziest part to me is they didn't even have a post-match segment. It literally ended. It was over. That's it. They moved on. That's what
made it feel so short on TV, especially.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like they barely even let her celebrate. She's dipped.
That's crazy. So like the conversation for me here, and we'll get to it with Athena and Willow, is that the problem with the AEW women's division, outside of obvious just time issues, and this goes into the time issues, is that you can make a division that people care about. Because I saw people tweeting, oh, well, people don't like this wrestler and this wrestler and this person. I was like, all right, sorry that I'm not a big Harley Cameron fan who doesn't wrestle, mind you. My apologies.
Why do you not like the valet who doesn't wrestle? That's my question. Why don't you like her wrestling matches?
That's crazy.
You want to know something?
But
she was Mariah May's tag partner.
She was. Yes, she was.
In Austin.
I know. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. I texted Alex that like a month ago. I was like, that's fucking insane.
Yeah. I saw them tweeting the other day, and I was like, wait a minute. and then I was like, oh yeah. I realized that the other day actually. But my point is that in a women's division, right? And this is conversation has gone on for pretty much since the beginning of AEW. So I'm not going to sit here and act like it hasn't. But the way you make wrestlers matter, it doesn't matter if they're men or women, is you give them time for us to care. The reason people gave so much care towards Athena and Willow Nightingale is because they got the time to be cared about, whether that's Ring of Honor or Rampage or something. That's how they got over. You're not giving these talents a chance to get over. The only thing that's usually on Dynamite is the Outcasts.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And guess what? No one really cares about it because it's been the same thing for 6 months. people would probably care if you gave them a reason to care. And I understand Jamie Hayter is out. I get it. That has ruined your plans. I'm very, very, very aware of that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she's going to be back for All In and everything's going to be fine and dandy. Hopefully, if she's not, then oh boy. But it's a problem with a simple solution.
Yeah, and it's a pre-existing problem as well. Like this has been a thing. You know?
Yeah. Britt Baker got over because she got TV time.
Mhm.
Not because she had these incredible matches. She was literally hurt for a lot of the pandemic, but they made sure she was on TV to cut a promo every week, and it got her over long term. Now, some wrestlers are better off if you just put them in matches. That's for damn sure.
Mhm.
It's all about allowing these wrestlers to make the fans care. You don't always allow them to make them care. If you do, you get what you got in the Ring of Honor main event.
Yeah. No,
it's very simple.
That's something that we're gonna have to talk about, is that's like the crowd for that Ring of Honor show. In my opinion, it was kind of ass, but they only really cared about the women's match at the end. That was the only match that they like shut up, stopped doing their bits. And when I think one person started chanting something, he got booed out, and then they started paying back attention to the match. It's the only match on I watched 3 of the matches on the Death Before Dishonor show. It's the only match that like they were like, no, this is a match that we care about. Shut up.
Beginning to end. Yeah.
We're we are caring about this. We are chanting for this. Whatever. That was like, you're right. That's a real testament to, and I've said this before, and this is like it kind of started as a joke, because I was just not a big fan of Britt Baker. Like, I never really was. It started as a joke, but it really has gotten like really like severely true that if you want to watch women's wrestling, don't do it on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
like because like
very true.
Even Rampage, like you can find a good women's match on Rampage every few weeks. Like
Mhm.
really, like a genuinely really good match. You know, you could find it on Ring of Honor.
They're
for
now
God's
tossing
sakes.
Chris on there a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you could find it on Collision even.
Well,
like
there's my Ring of Honor thing. Thank you for leading me in that. I don't mean to cut you off, but I did want to bring this in since you said it. I watched Utami not have an entrance. I watched her wrestle Trish Adora on the Ring of Honor the day after this show. By the end of the match, mind you, the crowd did not. They were like, whatever. By the end of the match, the crowd was into it. You know why? You gave them 7 minutes to make them care.
Yeah.
It's a very simple recipe. And now, don't get me wrong, Trish Adora and Utami Hayashishita are a lot better than Britt Baker and Kayla Sparks. But you see my point.
No, I
give good wrestlers a chance, they're going to get over.
And that's what I mean. Like, the difference between a 1 minute match and a 5 minute match and a 7 minute match are so vast in terms of like what you can do with it, but not so vast in like, again, the time management. You could have taken a minute off of Jack Perry's match, 30 seconds off of the dance battle and all that stuff that happened with Cole and MJF. And again, you could have taken off probably like 8 minutes of the main event. I'm not saying you should have, but you could have, and it probably wouldn't have changed it
off a good
at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
you could have taken off the entire roof spot.
And you really could have given this at least a 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah. And maybe not Britt Baker, but somebody can use that time. You know, like some people in their division can make a very compelling match in 5 minutes, and they just
right.
You know.
Well, here's the thing: you make use of time for what your pros are. That's why I said Britt got over by doing those promos for the longest time.
Yeah, totally.
That's why if you put Hikaru Shida on there, someone who people love, and you put her in a little match with whoever, it's going to get more interest than, say, this. Because no one's going to care about Kayla Sparks. You've already told me not to care about Kayla Sparks. Right? You tell me instantly not to care about her because, you know why? She's not even part of the roster. Why should I care? It's just things like that. Squash matches can be used correctly in the present day of professional wrestling. This was not one of those times to use it. But we'll get to the positive side of women's wrestling later on in the show. So let's
what one very short thing about squash matches. I remember you had this conversation a couple weeks ago on the show
Oh,
about like
JDS.
yeah, and I really liked the conversation. I was really thinking about it. It didn't work long term because of Cody, but Lance Archer,
Yeah.
I still think about his match with Marco Stunt,
Yeah.
and I've
I
there's been
think
a lot
about
of
Kenny
discourse.
versus Sonny Kiss.
Yeah, I mean
No offense,
there's been
Sonny Kiss.
there's been a lot of discourse about like that era of like, oh my god, you'd rather watch Marco Stunt, and I was like, in a squash match against Lance Archer? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like I knew Lance Archer was dope, but that was like it made me excited. Like I was just like,
Right.
that's so cool. And they you could use these matches very well. This
Yeah.
was literally just added onto the show because they didn't want to not have a women's match on it, which
Yeah.
is
Which
just
I get because
yeah.
you knew you were going to get backlash, but you're going to get backlash either way.
But you could use this minute and a half. You know, what I mean, you could use
Right.
it to do something, and they just didn't really.
I mean, they gave both women's matches the rest of the week the main event, a part of their well, not both. Collision did not have a women's main event, but Rampage did and Ring of Honor did. So, take that for what you will, I guess. Anyways, next up, Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament Final Match. Adam Cole and MJF defeat Jericho Appreciation Society, Daniel Garcia, and
Who do
Sammy
not
Guevara.
appreciate Chris Jericho anymore.
So, yes. So Ryan was going to hate me this week. I know he was, because there was nothing more electric in that building.
Oh, it was a beautiful moment.
Everything MJF and Adam Cole did, from the moment they had the remixed song to the end of this match when they hit the double clothesline.
Terrible double clothesline, by the way.
Terrible double clothesline. But did I pop for it? You bet your ass I did.
Oh yeah.
I was in the building. I was like, "Let's go!" I remember it. I don't always chant for things because, like, I think some things are stupid, but like that was one of them. I was like, I don't know. They've convinced me. I want to see the double clothesline, and I'm an Adam Cole fan. I know some people don't like him. I like Adam Cole. I'm on and off with MJF currently.
I think MJF is one of the best baby faces in AEW.
He absolutely is. It's
like,
why I've been so angry with him for the past 6 months, because he was about to be babyface, and then they're like, "Nope, we can't do it. We can't do it." Now they're doing it again, and they're proving why. Like, he is the guy. If they
he's
just
likable, and he's just enjoyable when he's a babyface. Like, I want to cheer for him.
Did you see the stat that their shirt, the Better Than You Baby shirt, is the highest selling shirt of the year?
And it's not even that nice of a shirt. Like, it just
like, says their two phrases.
Like, it's not like a particularly like I think the daddy ass shirt,
double clothesline shirt too.
Yeah, but I think like the daddy ass shirt is like really funny, and like it's so like provocative almost. It's just like, why would you wear this? Like, it's almost like a bit like a joke. I love that shirt. Yeah, I like those types of shirts. This is just like a
it just says the same.
It's like that's insane. Yeah, this is like a super over tag team, and I kind of love it. Like I really
do too.
I see a lot of like potential in it, and it's really making me upset that MJF is world champion because
you know it's ending with
you can't really do much with it outside of the tag challenge.
I've made my pitch perfectly clear. You have them beat FTR, they drop the titles at All In, then you just do the match at All Out.
Oh, and then MJF turns at All In.
Yeah, like, I don't care if it's within a week. You've been building this for months. If you don't have a world title match without a week out, oh well, who cares?
If they have a big enough like couple matches at the top of All In, I don't see an issue with that whatsoever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't need to see MJF defend the belt twice. Like, he's not going to defend the belt 2 weeks in a row. And what are people going to All Out for if All In is getting all the good stuff, right?
Exactly.
So I think that's a really smart idea. Actually, is that having
even though MJF, on the Bang Bang Gang, you're welcome.
MJF being the first, like the first big double champion, obviously Pac held, but like the first major double champion would be insane. But hey, I think that's a good idea. Actually,
to me, it's the more interesting story than just doing what everyone expects next week, right? Having them lose, MJF turning. Because, like, you can still do the teases of, like, Adam Cole staring at the title and be like, oh, you know, I would love to be world champion.
And the pop it all in would be absurd. Like like the turn, like it would be huge.
And it doesn't have to be your main event. You keep them out of. You keep your world champion out of the main event because I'm going to assume you have other matches that are worthy. But also, just mind you, we're almost 1 month out from that show and has no matches on the card. Anyways, just wanted to point that out to the people. But I think that's what I would do. I expect them to just do the turn at next week's Collision, call it a day. But they're red hot. They are the hottest act in the company. No offense to the Golden Elite. No offense to CM Punk. They are the hottest act in the company. And I don't know if they could have imagined they would get this over, but they have. And then Blood and Guts. Seeing Kota Ibushi live was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He didn't look good, but I liked seeing him.
It's going to be really wild when that Glate match is better than this, and I'm just going to be like, how is this happening right
because
now?
Of him.
No, I mean, there's a lot of great wrestlers in that Glate match. Like, trust me. And
this match would have been great if it was a normal match.
Yeah, for sure. I would even say that I think even if this was the Anarchy in the arena match with these wrestlers in it, and the wrestlers who were in Anarchy in the arena were in this, I think they would probably both be better matches.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was definitely a disappointment. I feel like I liked last year's like quite a lot. I know you're not a big War Games guy in general, but I thought last year's
live only.
Yeah, that's true. But I thought last year's like had like very memorable moments that I was like, okay, I'm going to remember this match, even if the match itself wasn't this, incredible, work, like piece of art. There were memorable moments that I will, continue to remember and really enjoy. I don't remember the thing I remember most from this match is Kota Ibushi taking a bump on the tags after the match that I saw on Twitter. Like, is that clip? That's the thing I remember the most about this match. I feel bad because I feel like you got me out on a week that like there's a lot of in wrestling, and I'm just shitting on everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
But no, like I really do. I think that this match was kind of forgettable. I'm happy that kind of it definitely brought this feud to a close in more of a whimper than I would have liked. I thought they could have really like had it like really be a thing. It was also shot poorly, like very terribly.
I've been told.
Yeah, you were there. You were there. But yeah, I was just like, this is like I just don't even want to like physically watch this because it's just like I'm just missing half the stuff.
I mean, they missed the finish.
It was just it was shot poorly. I thought that the match overall like kind of just suffered from the gimmick more than it was amplified
had a
by
lot of cool moments.
And I'm a big stipulation guy. I think stipulations
so hard to work.
I think stipulations are so beautiful,
especially on TV.
It's wild they put it on TV, right?
Every year,
like they haven't thought, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that anymore. We should put it on.
Maybe they should just not have an annual War Games match.
Yeah, you'd think. But yeah, it's just the match was a disappointment. I would say it was head and shoulders worse than last year's. The walkouts, I think somebody tweeted this that's like the walkouts made sense, but they made the match like they deflated it so much. Like it just felt so much less when it was BCC getting beat down by 5 dudes. I mean, it's like who's the good guy here, really? Like let's be real. Like they just got abandoned by 2 people that they tried to have help them and are just getting like obliterated. And John Moxley had to save his child. Like
it was so weird because it's like I understand doing the pack one because you're building to sort of something else.
Yeah.
But then having Takeshita do the same, it's like, why? What is this match? Like, it would have been. There was just a better way, I think, to execute it. I mean, as someone in the building, I liked it a lot more than most people, I'm sure, just because like everything was a lot of fun. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't get to see everything, but I saw the big spots. To me, this was like a John Moxley carry job. I'll say here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because he went through everything, he did everything, so it was like, all right, as long as Moxley's included, it's good.
It's crazy how many things in AEW have been John Moxley carry jobs.
That is his career, to be fair.
I love that guy.
He is the I know people don't like when you just toss this around, but he is the ace through and through for a
Oh
reason.
no, there's no doubt about it. Like he's like me and you have talked about it specifically.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it quick because I kind of want to move on. But like without John Moxley, AEW doesn't work.
Oh yeah,
Like
it's
it just
bad.
doesn't. Like Moxley is quite literally the glue that holds everything about AEW together.
Yep.
And if they had lost him at some point along the way, like I don't know how often I would be watching the company because like he's the best guy in the company. Like maybe Danielson is a better wrestler, obviously. Maybe Kenny Omega is a better wrestler. Like those are fair. But Moxley's just like he's what is necessary at all times.
He is he is the they do like the heart and soul thing for the elite, and I'm like, then what the hell is Moxley? Because he's everything. He's like
blood.
Yeah, he sure is. He needs to be the blood because he loses a lot of it. Anyways, let's move on. I've had enough about blood and guts. Fun in the building. Fine show / little bit of a disappointment, I'm sure, on TV.
Yeah.
I think the problem with the main event is with those 10 wrestlers, you expected it to be like the match of the year.
Yeah. And
it's like you just look at all 10 of them. There wasn't a weak link.
No. I mean, I thought that I'm not the biggest Young Bucks fan, but I thought the Young Bucks did fine. Like it really should have been just there was something missing about it. I don't know. I don't even know how to even put it. It just like was not.
It's
enough.
War Games.
Yeah.
It's what War Games is today. The War Games just doesn't work anymore.
I feel like the novelty is worn off.
Should bring Sting back.
Ooh.
Should put Sting in there. Staying in War Games is the only thing that works. That's my excuse all the time. Just put Sting back. Well, let's get to Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, and then we'll do the 5-star Grand Prix and then wrap this up. We're almost at 2 hours as per usual. Death Before Dishonor, I thought was an overall good show for a show that didn't have a card up until midway through last week. What matches did you watch?
I watched the singles championship matches, all three.
All right, perfect. So
no, not the Dalton Castle one.
Yeah, I figured as much. So
I like Dalton Castle, but it's just
it was bad. It was the worst match of the show probably. So I'll go through each match real quick. Gravity defeated Commander in a big shock. Gravity, of course, the younger brother of Bandito. This was a fun opener. I think the way to have Ring of Honor establish itself from AEW, and I've said this time and time again, is you just continue the Lucha influence on there. I know the Lucha Bros lost their titles, so that kind of hurts that, but I do think it does set them apart. At least it did in the first few months when you brought it. You made Ring of Honor its own brand, right? You had Roosh on there. You had the Lucha Bros on there.
Oh yeah, that was fun
Kingo,
at first. That was like
Commander,
really
and then they just stopped.
Yeah,
I think it makes it better. Gravity beats Commander because Gravity is going. He's going to Dynamite to face Pac.
Actually, Gravity was a part of my least favorite thing in this entire show.
When they said that Gravity forgot thing?
No. It was during the Claudio and Pac match. They did a picture-in-picture of Gravity just trying to look like angry, but he has a mask, and it's like not. And I was just like, what are we doing right now? Like this is not that funny of a joke.
No, it's not.
We are taking time away from.
I think Lucha Blog was going to lose his mind.
Match.
Lucha Blog. There was some funny tweets. I was like, I think this poor fella's going to lose his mind with these stupid jokes. Pac did not forget Gravity or whatever the hell it's called. Anyway, Samoa Joe defeated Dalton Castle after getting Stokely Hathaway to pretty much get the boys kicked out, and then allowed Joe to. So they're doing this weird story with Joe and Stoke, where Joe just has Stoke in his pocket, which is weird, and I don't know. When I watch Samoa Joe match, you know what I want to watch? I want to watch Samoa Joe wrestle. Okay.
How is it Samoa Joe that is doing it? Like why? Like I don't know.
How did they pick from the entire roster Samoa Joe to be the one that needs the help? I don't know.
And I was also thinking about it. It's like what I feel like that would be a good role for like Aussie Open. Because I could see even though they can win by themselves clearly, it's like
they're
baby
like faces.
Are they? I guess yeah.
They are in America.
The America thing, the America Japan thing with tag teams is all over the place. Same with ABC. But yeah, I mean, like you definitely have wrestlers that can kind of be like that chicken shit that goes to the boss and like hasn't, but is also intimidating enough to like intimidate them. Like that is a character that can work. Samoa Joe doing that, it's like, bro, you are Samoa Joe.
Exactly. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. But nonetheless, I move on very quickly. Just get me to Joe and Punk. All right. We didn't finish that. Just get back to that. Aussie Open won the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles in a 4-way tag. I believe they pinned the Best Friends.
It was over Trent. It was Trent with the Coriolis.
Yes, when they hit the Coriolis. The Kingdom didn't get pinned. That was a big win for me because I did not want them to lose.
That could be a good match. They could run Aussie. I'm pretty sure they ran it early on, some type of it.
They'll run it again. They should run it again.
This marks a little interesting thing for the 3 Brit Rest fans out there. Everybody in Schadenfreude has a championship now, which is kind of dope.
Yes, yes, they do.
I was a big fan of the Schadenpod when they had a podcast, and they would, and I loved their, I just really liked their work, all of them. So it's kind of cool that they all have belts, including, Aussie Open.
Yes, given them the Ring of Honor World titles, I was the only reason I was shocked because I figured they just wanted to give them the AEW World Tag Team titles.
They're gonna close out the year with another double reign.
Probably, as long as they can stay healthy, that's fine. I don't care.
Quick comeback, a little bit concerning how quick the comeback was. I know the injury wasn't like that insane, but like
they said 10 weeks. I think it was about 10 weeks, right?
Oh, is it? Maybe, I don't know. Time is.
It was quicker than the actual injury sounded, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It sounded a lot worse.
That's probably part of it.
But it was a crazy 4-way. What you'd expect. I think the Kingdom deserved better than what they usually get on Ring of Honor TV. AK, I don't think they should just be stuck on Ring of Honor TV. But whatever. Ring of Honor World 6-man tag team titles. Brian Cage, Bishop Khan, and Toa Liona defeated the team of Leo Ruffin. Sorry, I was gonna call him Leon Ruff. Leon Ruff.
It's Leon.
His name?
Yeah, Leon. Leo. It used to be Leon Ruff, but now they have it as Ruff.
Yeah. I like Leon Ruff. He beat the Money in the Bank guy for the title. So
that's crazy.
just want to remind everyone that. And Master Wato and Ryusuke Taguchi, because I don't know.
Japan, baby.
I don't know why they thought this match needed to happen. It did. It was fine. Those are all the words we're gonna have for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Katsuyori Shibata successfully defended the Ring of Honor Pure title against Daniel Garcia in 14 minutes and 36 seconds.
The Pure title is bizarre to me. Because like it's had one of my favorite TV matches of the year, but I also sometimes watch it and I'm just like, what are we doing? Like what? Like I feel like it's an interesting belt in a way.
The rules feel useless to me.
Yeah, like sometimes they make things a little bit more. And again, like I said earlier, I love stipulations because they kind of make you bend into holes a bit more and make it a little bit more unique. And that's the beauty of stipulations is it either frees you or it confines you and it makes you act differently. They don't really act differently in pure rules matches, except like a little bit less, like, I don't know. You're not going to see like anything like too exciting.
Yeah.
like anything like you're not going to see a high spot in a pure rules match, but other than that,
right.
The rules don't do anything really.
No, they don't. They just don't. They sometimes play, like if you have a heel champion, they'll use the warnings, but otherwise it's like, what's the point? And we've had many discussions on this show, especially when Jonathan Gresham was the Ring of Honor champion, and they put on Josh Woods, how pure rules suck.
I do remember Daniel Garcia completely made me realize, like, what are we doing with pure rules? Because he was wrestling, I think it was Wheeler Yuta, and he just he just kept putting submissions on him against the ropes. I'm just like, that's not like Nigel used to do like interesting things to kind of like get a like rule break in pure rules. That's just not fair.
Yeah.
Like that's just stupid. Like what are we doing here?
At this point, the only reason this title works or exists is because Katsuyori Shibata is the champion.
Yeah, and I'm cool with it. That's what I mean. I'm never gonna like complain because again, him versus
Right,
Lee Moriarty was absurdly good. But this was like fine. Like this was solid. It just
Yeah, I mean, I could have done less with the Garcia dancing.
oh you yeah.
I think the dancing's fun, but like when they were doing the sit down, I was like, all right, we're like 10 minutes into the match. Like, can we just be serious now? He's slapping the shit out of you. That was my one complaint, but otherwise, fine little match
They're
here.
trying to make him like an Orange Cassidy type of thing, and I don't think that's like how that works.
No.
You know what I mean?
Fightful just reported that actually Orange Cassidy is working as a producer now. So
He was an ant. He has a lot of history.
backstage role. He was the producer for the Big Bill and Brian Cage versus Matt Sydal and Trent match, which is kind of
so he's a
Rampage.
king.
Yeah, he knows what's up.
So he's a legend.
They did show Big Bill, by the way, during the Mogul Embassy match. They just had him backstage, and I was like,
"Oh no!
Wait a minute, you have Big Bill here, and you didn't put him on the card, you bitches! What the hell is this?" I was very upset about not running Big Bill out there even in the pre-show. Samoa Joe versus Big Bill would have been real, but
That
that's
insane."
Then we have Fight Without Honor. The Dark Order, Alex Reynolds, Evil Uno, and John Stiller defeated Stu Grayson and the Righteous Dutch and Vincent. Let me tell you, folks, there's not 6 people I could have cared less about on this show in one match than these 6.
This is also heel versus heel, right?
Well,
like,
you see, I think the Dark Order is not heel in Ring of Honor,
but they wear the suits, which means they're heels. Like that's the indicator.
Yeah, but I think they're not.
But
based off how you didn't watch this match, right?
No, but I saw I saw a clip
They
of
wrestle as
the
baby
promo. Okay, but I saw a clip of the promo where like Stu was like, "Bro, you guys got soft. Like, let's be real. I need to do better." And then like on TV on AEW, they realized, "Oh, we got soft, and our friend sucks."
Yeah,
And then they came back to Ring of Honor, and is like, "Yeah, you're right, but
we gotta beat you."
Like, what are we doing?
Also, Vincent and Dutch are horrible.
Yeah,
they're like really bad.
Dutch was the second best wrestler in a tag team with what was his name?
Bateman?
No, I don't think about that tag team. Comedy guy. It was a comedy tag team. Team Tremendous was one of them. Like he was always the worst guy in a comedy tag team.
Dan Barry?
Yeah, Dan Barry. How are you the second best guy in a tag team with Dan Barry? I don't think Dan Barry is that bad. But like when you're noticeably worse, it's like
he's bad. This match over delivered, I'll say, because like they did crazy stuff and it was a fight without honor. I think fight without honor stipulation is like one of the easiest stipulations to maximize matches. Like I forget what Ring of Honor show it was before they sold. They did Shane Taylor versus Kenny King in a fight without honor match.
Yeah.
And it was so much better than it had any right to be. I like Shane Taylor.
So do I.
But I'm not a big Kenny King guy. But it was a lot better than I expected. And it's like Fight Without Honor gives you and like was it Matt Taven and Mike Bennett versus I think it was Martin Andretti. That match should not have worked as a Fight Without Honor match, but it was much better than I expected as well there. I think Bennett was like bleeding bullets.
He loves to do that.
He does. I like Mike Bennett. He's really he's really came on in the second half of his career. Always a good tag team wrestler, but I think he's done pretty good as a singles guy too.
Totally.
From what I've seen. Anyways, let's get to the big 2 matches. Ring of Honor World Championship match. It was Claudio Castagnoli defeating Pac in 18 minutes and 36 seconds. The win came when Wheeler Yuta distracted Pac, giving Claudio just enough time to hit him with an uppercut and then hit the Ricola bomb for the win. But that will take away from what I thought was one of my favorite Pac performances because it was the most I've ever seen him a babyface since he's left WWE. This was probably the most Pac babyface match I've seen in a long time.
Outside
I
of
think,
like the Kenny run, because he was working babyface a bit
yeah,
there. But yeah,
yes.
no, I get what you mean.
And he works a little bit with Death Triangle, but most of the time he's still the heel, right? He's still the bastard. And when he works as a heel, he works a lot slower. He
Yeah.
he's a lot more methodical as a wrestler. When he is a baby face, and shout out Adrian Neville. I loved Adrian Neville. No one could take that away from
Oh,
me.
so did I. Him and Sammy was one of my favorite matches of all time when I was young.
Oh, it's so good. It was. I rewatched that recently. It's still very good.
That's good.
But I think he just works so much better. I think Claudio's been fantastic this year. Like truly one of the best men's wrestlers in wrestling, unquestionably. It helps that a lot of his matches he's just with John Moxley, who's obviously been phenomenal. But I want to give respect to Claudio as well. I think Claudio's done a great job. Obviously, the match with Eddie Kingston I loved from what the hell was that show? Supercard of Honor.
Yeah.
And that would have been run back here had Eddie not joined the G1. But I mean, for a match that wasn't supposed to happen, I thought it was great. I really liked what they did here. Pac taking that crazy press onto
That was absurd.
through the table. That was nasty. Absolutely nasty. They just had such a good back and forth. And while the finish soured me just a little, I thought this was a really good match. It didn't feel like 18 minutes for me. I was a little shocked by that. It felt the perfect amount of time, if that makes sense. I was actually shocked though to learn that the main event was longer. I thought the main event felt even shorter than this, but I thought it was a great job to get Claudio a big win. I would have liked if he won clean, but it's fine. I get it. You kind of, now that you have Pac back, you want him to be a force on AEW television. And I guess the BCC still heals. So that's weird.
For some, yeah. I wasn't as crazy about this match personally. I think a big drawback was just the atmosphere of this match.
Yeah.
That I soon realized was just
the crowd. The whole night.
Because the Athena match was like the crowd was great for the Athena match, like I said. But yeah, just the atmosphere just didn't feel like this. Didn't feel like a match I was meant to care about, and I did because I love both these guys. I really wanted to like love this, but I was just like, yeah, it was good. Like I didn't have any complaints. But it was just one of those matches where it was like, man, this should feel like this like huge deal. It's the Ring of Honor World Championship. It's two great wrestlers, and it just kind of, it just for me, it couldn't overcome the atmosphere, which was a real shame. But I still thought it was a good match, especially when you just like very much zero in on like the active work of it.
Oh yeah, I mean they had great work. I wish the crowd was hot. If the crowd was hot, this would have been one of the best Ring of Honor AEW singles matches of the year. But the crowd was not hot at all. Crowd stunk the entire night until the main event. I mean, if you only watched the main event, you would have thought it was red hot.
They started chanting "We the People" at Claudio. Like it's that type of
disrespect.
Shit where I'm just like I just roll my eyes, and I'm just like, I don't even want to watch. Like,
and here's the problem: they couldn't have had a good crowd because the show wasn't a show until this week.
No!
Like I'm shocked they had people in the building.
I am too. I know. I was like, oh, there's actually like a healthy amount of people here. That's kind of wild, and I realized it's because they weren't a good crowd. It was all the worst people. No. Yeah.
Let's just say women's wrestling owned the weekend, okay, folks?
It's true. That's true. But that took me out of it. It kind of just made me less hype for it, and the finish definitely didn't help. So
yeah, finish really upset me because it felt like we were going like this great finish, and then like I was like, really?
If we had like 3 more minutes, if we had like 3 more minutes of like the big time stuff, like I probably would have been a lot more favorable about it. But it was just a solid match for me. Nothing too insane.
Yeah, I love Pac though. I just like anytime he gets these big matches, I think he has like the best showing. Like no matter who he's against, he always feels like the MVP, even if it's just him getting thrown through a freaking table on the outside. Like that was crazy. And I'd love to see them. I hope that leads to something with them. If the pivot is to BCC and Death Triangle, I'm not going to complain.
I'm cool with it.
Wish
I mean,
Bryan
we can get a
Danielson was around though.
we can get a Phoenix singles match against like
Anyone
anybody. Yeah, like
ever?
he can drag Wheeler Yuta to like a fucking insane match. I'm not saying Wheeler's bad.
They
but,
would
like,
probably put Phoenix against like a Moxley or Claudio because he's the least protected probably out of those three.
yeah, no, I would love a like. I'm pretty sure they ran it. I'm sure they ran it before, but Phoenix versus Mox. In fact, I remember that being a really good match like years ago. Yeah, I would
Run
love
it
seeing
again.
that. Yeah,
Run it again. Moxley's a different man though.
it's true.
And then the main event, Ring of Honor Women's World Title, the first ever women's main event in Ring of Honor history, as Ian Riccaboni told us. Ian Riccaboni, I just want to give my man credit. He had a phenomenal night, but this was Ian Riccaboni at his best in this main event. Him and Caprice were awesome, as they often are. They helped they gave you a reason to care about the match, but then like every time that Athena and Willow did the callbacks, they tried their best to explain it as quickly as possible.
And they also pop for it.
Yeah.
I think that's something that people criticize Excalibur for that I personally don't have an issue with, but is that it's like
I think
Excalibur.
good.
Yeah, no, I love Excalibur. He's one of my favorite commentators of all time. But people will criticize it because he's just like so analytical almost, where it's like, oh, that is this isn't, and it's like just because he wants to get the information out so that people know it, and people are like, it's not passionate enough. I think he's passionate, but
Sometimes
I do sense the
and
difference.
Caprice they just lose it. They're like, oh
yeah, and
my
I love
God.
that. I love that.
Yeah. This match is one of the best women's matches in America. I'm gonna say it ever. I'm just gonna say because
that's high praise.
So there's not as long a list as there should be, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm talking major promotions, right? I'm not talking Shimmer and stuff like that. And I'm giving that respect because they were put in a spot where you obviously know if you follow Ring of Honor enough, or if you at least follow Athena and Willow enough, you know their story. And I thought they had a really good match the last time not the Owen Hart match, but the last
one
time
before that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, from Honor Club TV.
Yeah.
But this was that much better. This was Athena in her best version. To me, this was Willow just continuing her greatness. Like Willow, Mercedes getting hurt, sadly, like I'm still very upset that she's hurt, but Willow getting hurt was the best thing to happen to Willow Nightingale.
Oh, 100%.
Every respect. Willow Nightingale got an opportunity. She grabbed it by the horns. She got this great match with Julia at Cork and Hall. Was that last month? Or was that earlier this month?
That was earlier this month.
That's crazy. Time
flies,
but it doesn't.
19 days ago. 19 days.
That's insane. But she had that great match with her, and then she sets themselves up for this big main event. And maybe it was just the atmosphere and the moment and the care that they've put into Athena, the one women's wrestler, to me, under a Tony Khan brand that has really benefited from small, short matches is Athena, right? Because she became more violent and she developed this ability to
maximize her minutes.
She is great at maximizing her minutes, and that's something we talk about obviously, especially 5-star Grand Prix season.
Yeah,
it's why Stardom's so good, is because they maximize their minutes. Athena's someone that maximizes her minutes, so when you give her 20 minutes to tell a story, I'm impressed. And I thought her and Willow did such a great job at telling that story. When Willow kicked out of the Eclipse, as someone who I didn't watch it live because I lost power, but I watched it just on a slight delay. It was one of those like legitimately jump out of your seat type things. It was like, holy shit. She still lost. So I was like, God damn it. But I did like the way they if there was a way to have her lose, and this is gonna sound crazy, I liked the way they did it of her not giving up,
Yeah.
not getting pinned. It's so hard to make a babyface like that lose, because especially now with Willow, what do you do with her? She just lost to Toni Storm, right? She just lost her Forbidden Door. She
And
just
you think
lost to
about
Julia.
she's the top babyface in
Oh,
both companies
without doubt.
because Jamie's out and
Yep.
whatever's happening with Britt. You know, like that is a rough kind of like, where do we go now? Because it's like,
Yeah.
we haven't given her a belt, but
So I did see people compare this to like, and I wouldn't go as high as like Bailey and Sasha.
no.
I wouldn't go that crazy, because I still think there's room for them to improve in a match like this, and and I hope they get the highest of star rating from Dave Meltzer, just because like I root for them, because I think the atmosphere played a big part, and that does play a big part for Dave as well. I don't think it's like that, but like if you think of women's wrestling, and mostly this year, the only match in America women's wise that I'd put ahead of this is Kyrie and Mercedes.
That's fair.
I think that's reasonable.
I mean, somebody posted a thing about the cage match ratings, which cage match is, it's not the most reliable place on earth, but it's a decent barometer.
It gives us more than anything else really does.
Yeah, exactly. And like there was like 2 matches on Dynamite. You know what I mean? Like I think it's interesting because you kind of have to think, it's like, what have been the great women's matches in America this year, right? Like a lot of them had Emi Sakura in them, but all of those were like TV matches that were long form squash matches, because she never really she never stood a chance because they never allow her to stand a chance.
Right.
So
The
this year has
Jamie
been a
one
bit
was
rough.
great.
Yeah, no, 1%. I mean, that's
That's
one of my favorite matches
probably
of the year.
top 3 for me
In America, definitely.
off the top of my head. Yeah, in America. Hold on. Hold on now. I give you a lot more outside of America, but yeah, off the top of my head, it's probably the right
I think I agree, but yeah, but that's what I mean, is that it's like AEW has a hard time with women's wrestling, as we mentioned. Sometimes like really like highlighting it and making it the best it can be, producing it to be the best it can be. This is one of those instances where they knocked it out of the park, and I thought this was a great match. And I think a big part of it was this was a great match for Ring of Honor nerds.
Oh
For
yeah,
like independent Shimmer nerds, I'm sure, like
yes.
definitely a huge moment for them. I wasn't as big of a Ring of Honor fan when I was 8 years old, unfortunately.
They should have
But
shut out former Women of Honor champion Mayu Itani. Then
yeah, I think
thankfully they didn't do Kelly Klein.
oh man, that...
I popped him.
The thing is, I've seen so many Kelly Klein matches. I don't know what the reference to Kelly Klein would be, because like I've seen enough.
Well, the match was
Kelly
good,
Klein
so
matches.
that was the opposite.
Yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, no, I thought it was like a really beautifully done match, and you'll definitely appreciate it if you have an appreciation for that, bygone era of women's wrestling on the independents in America. And
That's
I
what it
think
felt like for sure.
Yeah, and I really
that's why I said major promotions, like ever in major promotions, because like the major promotions are WWE.
Yeah.
WCW,
which had some takeovers.
Which
Like
WWE
takeovers
has a good amount.
Yeah.
I saw people say it's the best match Athena's had since one of the ones with Asuka. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the ones with Asuka. I remember them being good. I haven't watched them in a long time, but I'm sure that's a proper take. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think I like the Asuka.
I remember. I think I liked this
not...
better. I don't remember.
Oh, I definitely like this one better. The thing is that I thought the Ember wasn't very great in the. I thought
she wasn't this at all
for me. You know, I mean, like she just didn't work for me in WWE, and it was a shame, because I was like, I can recognize that she can
deliver.
Yeah.
It just didn't click at all.
Right.
And she's a whole nother animal now. Like, it's great. I love it.
She is. And I think this was exactly like how you build up two wrestlers by giving them time. And even if it's not a lot of time, because a lot of Athena matches are squash matches, but you give her time to put over her character as this dominant force, and you make Willow this lovable babyface who just naturally got over. You put them in the ring together, and they create magic. I don't think it's like, I know some people may get crazy and mad and be like, oh, it's not a 5-star match. Okay. There's still levels to that for me and stuff like that. But it's a fantastic pro wrestling match. The deserving main event. They absolutely they deserved it anyways because they had the story, but they earned it too. They proved there was no match that should have went ahead of them. In terms of like American women's wrestling matches, like I said, it's number 2 for me this year off the top of my head. Because I don't love Charlotte and Rhea like a lot of people do.
Oh, yeah, neither did I.
I thought the second half was good, the first half was terrible. So take that for what you will. And ultimately, I think, Athena has an argument of the best world champion right now in wrestling. Not just because while she may not have all the big title matches to contend with, she's created an aura around her as world champion. And not taking the title off of her, it could be bold in the end because I don't know who you're going to have her lose it to if it's not Willow. But ultimately, that's the good thing is she's still such a great world champion. Hopefully you can build someone up that deserves it in the end.
Yeah, and I mean, building on Ring of Honor is a bit difficult, but I do. I mean, they have people, right? I mean, there's great wrestlers around Ring of Honor and in Ring of Honor and in AEW, around AEW that, could really use like a showcase against Athena and maybe a win over Athena. But yeah, I definitely thought it was a weird decision to have her win. Because like I definitely just expect her to kind of like not move up because I know that Tony Khan's trying to be like, oh, Ring of Honor,
she's ready for Collision.
Yeah, I just thought that she was going to be like, more
Collision because that's the show she was finally going to be featured on. So,
but I just figured she'd be more, closing in on Chris Stat with the TBS belt or something, or challenging, maybe not challenging Tony because they're both heels, but doing something of that sort more so.
Yeah,
but
as I like to say, if Claudio can be on both, why can't Athena?
That's a good point.
Anyways, that's Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor, and then we'll finish up with the 5-star Grand Prix. Opening night, best reference. We're not going to go into it as deep as we would on our own shows. So if you want to hear, full on thoughts, check out Stardom Quest anywhere. You can find that anywhere on podcast platforms, and I'll have it over on my usual 5-star. Anyways, we will still get into a good amount of thoughts here because it was an incredible night of wrestling. Unfortunately, with a sad ending, and we're going to start there actually because I'd like to talk up the rest of it.
Yeah.
So Tam Nakano and Saya Kamitani was your understandable main event world champion against former record-breaking Wonder Stardom champion. I think it was the match that made the most sense if you just thought about it for a few minutes. Even if we're not the biggest Tam fans, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And they were following a lot of tough competition. Okay, I will lead it up there. They had no shot. Truthfully, I've really liked Tam and Saya before. I liked the World Climax match. Is that what
yeah, it was World Climax.
They were on a roll.
They were on their way to having a really good match.
They were doing crazy shit to make up for it. It was still a tall mountain to climb. And Saya Kamitani, unfortunately, and this isn't official yet, they just said on the broadcast, but Saya Kamitani hit a diving crossbody from the was it stanchion? What the hell did she jump off of? The big metal thing, right?
Yeah.
I never know.
pillar. It's not
The
pillar.
pillar. Yeah, we don't use that word.
She
It was
jumped
the
off
big
of
thing that
Mayu
whole.
Iwatani, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, the big metal pillar thing. Get it? She climbed up very high,
Truss?
jumped
Is it
off.
truss?
The truss, that sounds right. We'll just say that. We don't need to focus more on whatever the hell that was. And she dives down. It looks like a pretty simple cross body. You know, she landed on 1 million people. And then Saya's down, and Tam's down, and Saya's still down, and Saya's still down, and then they ring the bell.
And Daichi's freaking the fuck out.
Daichi was freaking out. So instantly, I thought that she must have broke something or got concussed the way he was freaking out. Like I was expecting, because they were hiding her arm. I don't know if you noticed that, like on the broadcast.
I didn't notice that at first.
Okay,
I noticed
so
after rewatching it.
Yeah, so like they were hiding it. And I was like, did she like snap her arm? Did we have like one of those situations that I'm gonna throw up? No, she didn't, thank God. But she did dislocate her elbow. That's the unofficial report so far, which sucks. Yes. I'm just gonna it sucks. You and me on my 5-star preview this past week, we talked about a lot of wrestlers. We talked about Saya Kamitani has a claim to being the best in the world.
Yes.
And seeing her in the very first match get hurt in a year that I think her being a finalist is very believable. It sucks so much. And listen, all injuries suck. I'm not saying this is like a special scenario, but it being the first match for her run and the first main event after the night that we had already had, it sucks so bad. And I think we're all still just waiting to see what the official decision is, right? Because you instantly assume that she's likely going to be removed from the tournament because a dislocated elbow, for those who don't know, takes up anywhere from like 4 to 10 weeks to recover.
I believe it's
obviously if it was 4, they could have the trickiest schedule of all time to try to work around it.
That'd be so fucked up, though. To have this girl come back
from Let's just toss her in there.
Having you wrestle 7 singles matches in a week and a half.
So so I'll let you talk about it first, and then we'll talk about the follow-up.
Yeah. No, I was devastated, man. I legit. I texted my beloved co-host on Stardom Quest, Alex. I was like, I've had kind of a rough week. It's crazy that it was capped off with one of my favorite wrestlers like breaking her arm. Obviously, she didn't break it,
Thank
but
God. But yeah, at the time,
I was like, oh my God. I mean, when I saw it, I didn't know what was happening, right? I was kind of just like just concerned and kind of like in like panic mode. What are you laughing at?
Sorry, they announced the first match for tag team for Junior Festival.
I don't think I want to know.
I gotta tell you, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Concerned.
It's Desperado and Mao versus Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver.
Why are they? That is such a good tag team, bro. Why would they do that?
I laugh because I knew you were going to be affected.
Oh, that is messed up. Like, they gave me something, but they took it away. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because Mao and Despy is like such an absurdly crazy team. It's such a Dylan team. Like, that's like, but East West, man, that's not what I want.
Anyways, back to Saya.
Yeah.
Sorry, Saya.
Yeah. So when it happened, I was getting really concerned because I wasn't really like registering how she was like acting or what was happening really.
She wasn't moving.
No, and that's the thing is that's like Daichi started freaking out. You saw all the seconds like run over, and I was like, is she like paralyzed? Because she's not moving at all.
Yeah, you just
Like I did
instantly
not
think
see
the
a
worst.
single. Like I saw Tam like talking to her, but I did
Right.
not see Saya moving at all. So I was
And then
like
I saw
starting
the
to
gurney.
freak out. Yeah, and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? And then I started to see her move like her arm and like her upper body. I was like, okay. And then she like moved her leg onto the, and I was like, okay. So she's not like, like, because obviously, like, I think paralyzed is like the one thing that you really worry about, obviously, other than death. Like, for a wrestler, getting paralyzed is, for anybody getting paralyzed is just terrible. So I was really concerned. And then, you kind of look back at the clip. It's like, it's kind of funny because you don't, like, it looked like every other dive ever. You know what I mean? Like, this
Mhm.
wasn't a Dante Martin situation where it's like, oh yeah, his leg
Yeah.
ripped into 17 pieces. It's like, no, it looks like she just dived like she always dives, like everybody always dives. It didn't look particularly
Right.
different until she's like laying on the ground crying. You know what I mean? Like, so it
Yep.
was interesting in that sense. But yeah, it was just really upsetting because I
I
mean,
just don't
Saya
even know
made
how
a
it
good one.
happens.
Yeah, me neither. Because
Like
like you really like you look
I
at it, and it's like,
rewatched it
huh?
and I'm like, how did her arm ever like make enough impact with presumably the floor to dislocate? And that's just the freak thing with wrestling ultimately. It and now it's like obviously we want her to get better, want her to get back, and I want her to take the time to get better and get back. I prefer to see her at the end of the year in a big match than worrying about getting into this tournament. While obviously I will miss Saya Kamatani in the tournament.
Oh, totally.
But here's the thing. This is my pitch. It's one match. She doesn't have points. You can just replace her.
You could.
You have May Sarah,
Unaffiliated.
who's unaffiliated. And I think she makes the most sense as an unaffiliated wrestler. Because you would think, I mean, you could put Tekla in, you could put Koga in, you could put all these people in. My thinking is, if they didn't want to put like a faction wrestler in, another faction, like a DDM wrestler or a Stars wrestler, that's one wiggle room. If you just want to put a wrestler in, just put one in. At this point, I don't even care. Just put someone in.
See, yeah, the person who would make the most sense to me is Lady C, because that's how.
Well, yeah, that would make sense.
But
and just exception. But
I
if
think
they
that'd be
want
a bit
someone to get
difficult.
points,
Yeah,
because then they would have to rework everything.
yeah,
Because I was under the belief she was going to make the finals.
yeah. And
So,
I don't think a May Sarah or another one was Saida. I thought Saida might have been able to get in. I don't think any of them are making it close to the finals, type of thing.
no, it's like who can you put in that can? No, they're not going to make it to the finals, but can get a
No.
decent amount of points. And it really sucks because Suzu's last night is now screwed up too. Feels
Yeah.
like a Momo situation.
A little bit. It's, yeah, I mean,
it
we
just
have to wait and
sucks.
see ultimately, but yeah, it's a rough situation. They could just end up giving everybody the 2 points and then reworking it like that. That's how
Yeah.
they do it sometimes. But usually that's mid tournament.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it really is a shame. Like I said, I said on your show the other day that's like Sai Kamatani was she was set up to have one of the best tournaments in the company, right?
Sure
And
was.
it's really unfortunate that she hurt herself on, again, a move that's like, while it was like a higher stakes move because it was from higher up and it was like
Yeah.
a high spot, she does that dive
Oh
like in
yeah.
every match. You know what I mean? Like she does
And
that cross body.
there was a lot of people to land.
Yeah, like it's really a shame just overall, and it really was upsetting. Um, did put a damper on an overall really solid show. Yeah.
After the match, they had to continue on, obviously, with their angle. And I know a lot of people got mad about this, but you had no other time to do this. So I want to say you had to do it now, or you didn't have a Corkin or something to do it. I'll just say
Yeah.
that. Because you have Stardom X Stardom in 3 weeks on August 13th. Then you have a Corkin, I think, or New Blood.
Yeah, it's a
You have
new blood.
something.
That's
Yeah.
live.
You have a New Blood. And then you have the Midsummer Fest, which is another pay-per-view. You didn't have time. you had to follow through. It sucks because obviously Tommy was involved, and I'm sure Tommy's sitting there like, is my friend okay? Tam probably feels the same way as well. She just wrestled her, and their connection. It all sucked. It was a sucky situation that I understand they had to follow through on. So the lights go out. Megan Bain of Beyond Wrestling fame, of AEW Dark fame. She made a pretty big name for herself on the indies over the past couple of years, especially on Uncharted Territory that Beyond was once running. And then she tore ACL in February 2022. But she debuted. Obviously, she has a very unique look as she is very tall. Has this like the goddess head thing or whatever it's called. I have no idea what it's called. Crown.
She's also, I don't know if you know, she's also Mega Sus.
Yes, that is her nickname.
She
Mega
is
Sus.
Mega Sus.
She's Mega Sus, just like the Brit Rest scene. Anyways,
that's a good one.
So she debuts, and then Utami walks out, and I'm just like, what?
I
what is
hated
happening?
this.
I know you did, and
Like,
we're not going to go in too deeply because we're already way over time.
Can I say one name?
Yes.
Satnam Singh. That's all I like. Obviously, Utami better than Jay Lethal, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, I was just like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people are. First of all, I saw some people thinking like she's leaving Queen's Quest, and I was like, okay, well, I never got that impression.
She just felt too heelish. That was the issue. Was that it felt like it felt like the Queen's Quest thing feels uneasy, as everybody knows, with the her leaving and them just being like, oh, okay, and her coming back and just like kind of just being a dick is like a bit concerning. It felt very akin to Mina with Club Venus with the Unagi thing, and I was like,
worked
okay,
out in the end, I guess.
But that works out without Utami and Queen's Quest. That's where the thought process is. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I definitely understand the thought process.
Well, I thought she had a Queen's Quest shirt on, so I was like, okay. It looked like a Queen's Quest shirt at least. But ultimately she was out there too. She didn't give a shit about Tam. And the best part about her promo, she's like, yeah, this woman just followed me here. She's pretty big, huh? And I was like, that's hilarious.
She's a big motherfucker.
She's like, she didn't.
Like,
she wasn't.
That's what
she was like, I didn't bring her. She just followed me. So,
but she's big. She's a badass. Look at her.
Yeah, and ultimately, she was there to challenge Mayu Iwatani for the IWGP Women's title. And I was like,
also
sick.
Kind of throws
a lot off.
Everything off.
So I said in my brain, is this just like a way to create more doubt for Utami? Is she just going to lose to Mayu and then have to climb again? Or is she just going to beat Mayu? I will be very angry if Mayu loses in her first defense.
Also, because for those thinking it might be a limit draw, that's a 60-minute with the IWGP. So that's not happening.
Well, if it's on a Stardom show, they can just lie. But yes.
That's true.
And I'm assuming it's on a Stardom show and not the G1 final, because why would you want the G1 final upstaged? It'd be very bold to put Mayu and Utami ahead of that, because they're going to have a great match. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, it was very confusing, a lot of finish. But let's get to all the bright side, huh?
Yes, I would much rather do that.
That's why I did that first, because I think ending the show with that would have been sad. So we had a lot of matches. 10 matches on the night.
Yes, 10.
We have Micah versus Hanan, Azumi versus Mariah May, Ami Sarai versus Natsuko Natsupoi versus Starlight Kid, Utami Hayashishita versus Mina Shirakawa, shout out Shayna Baszler, Mariah versus Momo Watanabe, Shuri versus Suzu Suzuki, Mayu Utani versus Suzuki, and Julia versus Sayori New, leading up to that main event that was all over the place. I thought it was a great night of wrestling. There was a lot of bright spots. I think Mariah May impressed a lot of people.
Yeah.
In
I'm
her
not going to
match
talk
with
about
Azumi?
my personal dark spots because this is where I get to be positive about wrestling because I love this.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
going to talk about everything, to be fair,
Oh.
but I just wanted to shout out Mariah May.
No, yeah, Mariah May and Azumi was early on. I was like, is this going to be the best match of the night? It wasn't, obviously.
It got blown away eventually, but it was pretty good.
By the time the Utami Mina match finished, I was like, I still think Mariah and Azumi was kind of up there for me. And then obviously that stretch kind of killed that.
Yeah,
but
you got denied, but it was really good. It was exactly what I think Mariah needed to kick it off, and Azumi's Azumi, so
she could make a broom look like $1 million. And Mariah May's a lot better than a broom, believe it or not.
A lot of people are like, Mariah May's had that in her this whole time. I was like,
oh yeah, like
yeah,
a lot of my friends, and not to get too, but a lot of my friends who don't really watch Stardom that much anymore that I've met like before Bushiroad purchased it, and it was a very different company.
Sure.
A lot of them watched the show and they were like, "Oh, this is like a really great show." Like outside maybe this match, that match, whatever. And a lot of them were saying that it's like, "Oh, Mariah May actually is like really good." I'm just like, yeah, it's like, because there's always kind of that concept, that perception of Mariah
well,
May.
you, me, and Alex aren't allowed to, applaud her as much anymore. We're just assumed.
But she's just.
I mean it. She's a good tag team wrestler too.
Yeah. No, I didn't expect her to be
Mina.
so good as a singles.
No, well, I didn't know. I didn't. So I knew like she was really looking for like a high speed match, but I didn't know like they were gonna go crazy, like crazy in the second match on the card that is not gonna get a ton of time. If that makes sense.
No, totally. I think that Azumi completely like matched her pace. Mariah May even more so matched Azumi's pace, which is very hard to do.
Impossible. Even
me and Alex spoke about that. It's like the issue sometimes is that Azumi sometimes makes other wrestlers look like chumps just because she wrestles so fast and so seamlessly.
She did that to poor Rena.
Yeah, exactly. But Mariah May really kept up. She made it look good, and they just really killed it. The high spots were phenomenal. The power bombs to the outside was just great. The finish I loved with the spinning happily ever after. And yeah, I was like really
the
cool.
Best wrestler to do a tombstone as their finish. See, I had to
finish
a very exact thing.
Sure.
Well, not overall. Mayu does a damn.
Okada and Mayu do like really dope tombstones. I was like,
they do. I just needed to give them. I just needed to disrespect Undertaker.
That's fair. But no, yeah, I thought that was a phenomenal finish. Usually I'm upset when Azumi loses, but I was kind of like, I think Mariah May really needs this one, so I was really happy with Mariah May winning this, and it was a really fun match. This is of the first half of the card.
Mariah.
Of the first half of the card, this is my favorite match up until Mariah Momo.
I'm shocked. Anyway, I will talk real quick about Utami and Mina. Utami debuted a new finisher, the Shocking Baszler. Is it the Shocking Baszler?
Yeah, it's the Shocking Baszler.
It is after Shayna Baszler, who taught her the move, handed her the move, which is funny because I have seen Shayna Baszler do moves like this. So I was like, well, she's not lying, which is nice. And it's supposed to be a power bomb.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's not?
No. It's supposed to be exactly what it was. So I'm a huge Shayna Baszler fan. And Shayna, when she debuted on Raw, and she was doing the vampire thing that wasn't a vampire thing, that was her move. It was like a sit out, it was like a slam, a side slam. It was like a pump handle, or not pump handle, it was a gut wrench over to the other side, and that was a slam. So it was the exact move she was trying to do. I don't know what the problem was, but Mina looked like she weighed 1,000,000 bricks when Utami was trying to do it. Not like in a way that not trying to be disparaging.
No, just like it looked.
Utami was.
It looked
struggling.
like dead weight. It looked like dead weight.
Exactly. No, that's what I mean. Yeah, because I've seen Shayna do it to a lot bigger.
Yeah, she does
Mina,
it easier. Had she done it a lot faster, it would have.
That's another thing. That's but that's.
I know what the move you're talking about now. Now I think of back to Shayna. Because it looked like she was almost going for the power bomb, and I was like,
"That's what I thought."
That doesn't make sense. Like, who does a side power bomb? Because she dropped her on the side. It's not like she dropped her in front of her. But I think as more time goes on, I think we'll come around on that move. Mirai versus Momo Watanabe. I made fun of Alex a lot after this match, actually. We are way over time. Ryan's gonna kill me, so we'll power through here. But one tip here is Momo Watanabe can still go,
Yes,
and Mirai's excellent.
she's so back. This match actually really set me up for like a great couple matches on this show. Because this match like really blew my expectations away because I didn't know what to expect. Because Momo,
You were scared.
oh, I was terrified. Momo could have just shat the bed if she wanted to, because she
Sure.
just, she could have just used the bat, and that was like that could have been the entire thing. But instead, the bat was used very beautifully. Like Mariah just lariated it out of her hand.
Oh, that
It
was
like,
awesome. She's
it
like,
was
get that
great.
shit
It was
out
great.
of here.
And this was just a great match. This is the first like truly great match. I feel like Utami Mina kind of underperformed for me. This was for me the first truly great match of the show, and it really like had me on a high going into the next two matches. Just because I was like, Momo, it's Momo, man. Like Momo's, like
Yeah.
you always wait for that like tell that's like, oh, Momo's like trying. She's really going into it right now, and this was that. So I'm really excited moving forward because she's back.
She is back. She looks determined. She looks ready to go. She looks like Momo Watanabe,
Yeah.
and that's what matters.
Mariah also good, obviously.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's on her roll now. Mariah's, there's no looking back with Mariah. Next up was my match of the night: Shuri versus Suzuki. I don't need to tell you much.
Watch it.
It was
Watch it
Shuri
immediately.
versus Suzuki. Go out of your way to watch it. It was phenomenal. I'm gonna watch it again probably when we're done recording.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it since you need to watch it. Like it's
Is it
necessary.
even better? Is that what you're saying to me?
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the audience. I'm
Oh,
saying
if you haven't watched
it,
yeah,
you need to watch it. 'Cause it was so well done.
I've just been on like if Mayu Iwatani wasn't didn't exist, Suzuki would be my favorite wrestler in the world. And sometimes I just act like Mayu doesn't exist to be fair to everyone. Yeah. But this was phenomenal. It was the two of the best facing off for the first time, and you felt it from the very start. Mayu Iwatani versus Suzuki was Mayu Iwatani versus Suzuki, but Mayu won on the opening night.
Yeah.
Poor Suzuki.
It was kind of No,
Suzuki's
it
gonna
was
do the
kind of
reverse
funny.
from last year.
It's kind of funny because I was like, "Damn, Mayu will literally do anything but defend this belt." Because the second that somebody's like, "Oh, if I beat you, can I get a title match?" She's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, sure."
And then
She breaks a 10-year curse
Yeah.
instead of defending the belt. Now she is defending the belt, but I thought that was a funny. Like I thought that was so funny.
It was great. I love watching these two. They went at the Hazuki pace, which is like obviously, a lot.
Yeah. And Mayu was just laying it in as she should.
As she does, as Mayu does. I said when this match was over, like, I think people just disrespect Mayu a little bit too much these days. They're like, oh, I was like, she can just turn around when she wants. She just doesn't need to.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
especially when
for a
she
lot of
teams with like
people.
Hazuki and Koguma.
Yeah.
Like, why the hell she care? She can do her 4 moves on a house show and call it a day.
And Hazuki and Koguma could carry the load. Like Koguma
Yeah,
is
exactly.
great at carrying house show loads all the time. She's always doing
Yeah.
it. But yeah,
That's what
I thought
her and
Hazuki and
Hazuki
Mayu.
do. That's like their special.
That's true. After
Especially now that she like Mayu's always with those two and Hanan, and she's like, here you go.
y'all got
you
this.
guys.
Y'all got this.
But this was great. And then Julia versus Sayori New. Sayori New was a bloody mess.
Yes.
Sayori New is psycho.
A little bit.
I mean that respectfully. By the way.
I love her. Love her.
I think she is just as out of her mind as Julia is in some ways. And I never thought I was going to say that about Sayori New.
I think, and don't hold me to this, she might be the first wrestler to do 2 round robin tournaments at the same time. She's in that JTO tournament. That's starting.
She is.
Which is kind of insane because it like lasts for the duration of the
She's
5
facing Inaba, isn't she?
Yeah, Inaba's the
That's real
1st
wrestling.
of September or something like that. Or
Yeah,
it's
hope
sometime.
I can actually see that. But this was I had a great time watching this. Like it wasn't perfect because like there was a lot of working to the big spots. They did a suplex into the chairs, and I was just like, "What? It's the first
Oh, I
night,
loved it.
guys. It's the first night, guys. Oh, I absolutely loved it. Sayori knew Mariah May face on the next show. I'm very excited for that after their two performances. They did the pile driver through the table, and I was like, oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with these people? And then they went to a draw in the end. Your one draw of the night. Sayori New's like the next wrestler that Stardom's just like, hey, if you want to sign this deal, do it. Because
We will give you everything.
yeah, they've given her the Suzu push from last year already,
Yeah.
and it's been one match.
Yeah, I thought this kind of it kind of petered out near the end, just like within like the last couple minutes. Just
Oh, they were exhausted.
It was very Julia. It was very Julia trope heavy. Because I was
Yeah.
like, okay, Julia, you're just doing your Julia bits now. Like
Yeah.
like we could just move on. But I guess I had to get to the finish. But yeah, I thought it kind of petered out, and that kind of affected it for me. But like especially that first 10 minutes
Oh
was
yeah,
insane, super well
they
done.
did the Yukihi match.
Yeah.
And
No, that's exactly
they
it.
combined the Yukihi and like Shuri match from the end of the year last year with like the suplex into the crowd, and I was like, this is phenomenal. So like, I agree. The last couple minutes were like, all right, they did all their big spots. They're like, can we just get to
Can we
the
just
end?
lay down for a bit?
Yeah, I would if they just like laid there. I've been like, nah, I respect it.
They could have done a double KO. I would have rocked with
That
it
would have been
if
awesome.
they did that. But
They don't. We don't do double KOs enough.
I don't. I agree. I think a good double KO is perfect.
But everyone should watch pretty much everything on this show. Except, if you want to skip the main event, I would.
Yeah.
Don't-
It made me a bit uncomfy. Just like
Yeah. And end your night with Julia and Sayori trying to murder each other. I think that's a fine way to end your night. I wish that's where the show ended personally. So, because I was just like, when it was over and they went to the draw, I was like, you know what? We can wrap it up here. I'm good. But yeah, that was it. That's it for Ring Post Radio. It was a very long episode.
I talk a lot. I apologize, y'all.
It's okay. We filled in the time. We filled in the week. So you have to play up to our rules, though. What is your match of the week from matches that we did not talk about today?
From matches we did not talk about today. That is difficult.
Yep.
Let's go with. It's not match of the week because it was during the.
It's okay. Ryan half the time goes for like the 80s.
Yeah, let's run with I have it somewhere. Oh, you know what? It's actually from forever ago. It is Venny versus Kohaku from day 5 of Catch the Wave.
That works.
I watched it like 2 days ago. Really, really good. It was the best match of the Wave tournament.
I knew you'd have something because like you watch wrestling, some wrestling slower, just especially Wave. Not your fault. Obviously, because getting to those matches, whatever. And then do your plugs.
Oh yeah, check me out on StormQuest on every Thursday usually. We're sometimes a day late, sometimes a day early, but usually every Thursday we talk about Stardom, and that is very fun because I have many thoughts and opinions. If you couldn't tell already,
yes, I kept them held back pretty well on this.
Oh yeah, I was trying not to be too much.
Mostly because we were overtime.
That too, but I also have No Limit with Xavi, which is our kind of retro show where we kind of have a guest. They pick a show. We talk about the show.
Tell me that.
Blah, blah, blah. I'll talk to you about it.
Okay.
New episodes coming probably this week, hopefully. And on Twitter at XXJapan, I write for 5-Star Network now. That's it, pretty much. So shouts out Scott.
Yeah. And for me, my match of the week will be Takeshita versus Ueno. Everyone should go watch that. Love me some Beast Takeshita. And you can follow me at Scotty Wrestling on Twitter. Me and Ryan will be back next week, next Sunday, presumably in the morning, to talk the big week of G1 as they hit Korakuen twice, as well as Oda Ward. And I'm sure there's other stuff we'll have to talk about. I think we have to preview SummerSlam next week. So there you go. No idea what's happening on SummerSlam, but we got to preview it. So it should be a lot of fun. Until next time, everyone.
SummerSlam is 2 weeks.
Yeah, SummerSlam is the first week in August for like the first time ever. Usually it's towards the end.
Wow. Yeah, that's wild.
They don't want to compete with All In.
Fair.
Don't blame them. Anyways, So long. Farewell. Until next time.
Arrivederci. Bye-bye.
See ya.
This has been a Countout Podcast.
Hi guys, this is Lauren, your proud host of Your Dose of Death. Just give me a little quick tune in to make sure to listen to Your Dose of Death. Each and every single episode, I provide a different lens into the world of deathmatch, whether it be wrestlers, content creators, or anyone in between. Make sure to listen to me each and every single episode to get a different lens into the death. And please, make sure to listen to Your Dose of Death.